Refresh the YouTube page. Oh, hey, Damiani, just in time.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Nice.
You excited about Dragon Quest 11?
Dude, I am really excited about Dragon Quest 11. I started last night and was typing in my name, and then was so tired that I was just like, I can't go beyond this. I can't even like. If I started, I'm going to be watching the opening cutscene, but not really paying attention to it. So I just went to bed. But today, after we're done with this Q&A, speaking of Q&As, hi everybody, welcome to the July 2017 Q&A. We are Easy Allies. You might notice that we're down a couple of people. Brad and Huber aren't here. They have other things.
Brandon. Great start.
Great start.
Oh my.
Great start. Yeah. I guess I just so closely associate you two.
It's all right.
That
I accept that.
But yeah, Brandon is not here, and Michael Huber is here, or not here. Whatever.
Let's just start.
There are two people that aren't here. We're going to start with a question.
Huber.
I am Don Casanova. No, we have questions from $20 and up patrons. So if you want to submit a question, go to patreon.com/easyallies and sign up there. And we do this every month. And our first question this month that we're going to talk about is from Alexander. This is a heavy one. What can change the nature of a man?
What?
Anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any answer to that.
Anything.
Is that the entire question?
That is the entire question. I'm leaving nothing out. What can change the nature of a man?
Circumstance?
Ian, what's
Loss.
the movie with Michael Douglas where he gets stuck in traffic?
Falling down?
Is it that one where he just goes nuts?
Yeah, it's falling down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Traffic can change a man.
Google
Yeah, I
search
mean-
says this is a quote from Planescape Torment.
Oh.
I knew it was a quote. I was like, this has got to be a quote.
I think we were being tested.
We failed.
We
Damiani
failed.
passed.
Well done.
He looked it up.
I had to look
Yeah.
it up.
That's
Googling
the,
can change the nature of a man.
yeah, that's the era we live in. Is like, hey, I don't know your stupid trivia, but I could Google it in a second. It's fine.
So that's what constitutes success now?
Yeah.
Okay.
What an era.
What an era.
I do. Yeah. If the question's serious, I think loss can change the nature of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Whether regret or love or revenge or fear, whatever you believe can change the nature of a man. Can.
I think anime can change the nature of a man. For
Well,
better or for absolute worse.
That's definitely for sure.
Yeah. Like, it can take you to the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
Yep.
Definitely. Our next question comes in from John. He says, hey, allies, would you ever consider adding new allies to the team? As someone who's trying to dig out a place in the competitive world of games media, I would be lying if I said the idea of contributing to the group one day didn't motivate me. Also, I'm currently writing a bunch of content for a personal website that I will launch later this year. Is that a viable way to break into the industry? If you were starting out today, what would you guys do? Any thoughts would be much appreciated.
So I think honestly, launching a website is super hard without video. I think video is a very important part of launching today and gaining an audience today. I think you're making it more difficult if you want to build an audience through writing than through video. And so that's what I would start by recommending.
Well, and also, like, don't launch a website. Don't do that. Like, use YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Start a channel.
Learn to edit.
Yeah. Like, yeah, having a website is not... Like, we have one just basically to host our schedule, and that's about it.
When Bloodworth leaves us in 2019, we will need to replace him with somebody. And so I would say, like, the door isn't closed on new allies. Like, I think eventually, like, we will need new people, but I don't think, like, today that's a thing. That's a consideration we have.
Consider the door closed until
Bloodworth leaves in 2019.
Until
Kyle,
Bloodworth leaves.
why you do this, man? Now we're just getting so many people
Yeah.
asking.
Kyle's just teasing.
Teasing, but also in a serious way. Like, I bet by 2020, one of us will leave. I bet that'll just happen.
By
Why?
2030.
Because there's 9 of us. There's just 9 people. Like, it's so hard to keep 9 people together for such a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if something big changes for somebody.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Don. It's gonna hit the jackpot.
Don leaves because he
never
wins.
hear from him again.
He just
Don hits the
wins
jackpot
the
every
lottery.
second of his life.
20 years later, we get like a notebook with his memoirs of what he was doing.
Yeah.
And we're not sure if he's like still alive or what.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think even if Don left, we would still somehow get some shadow drop video.
Yeah.
We just come in one day.
Once a year.
He leaves us, but he still has access to our YouTube page and is rogue uploading things.
Yeah.
Bringing into the competitive world of games and media, though, I always think focus is like more and more important, which is a tough thing because I would never want to cover just one area of games writing. But I think focusing like on a particular game, like it's much better for you to be a super Destiny person and just spend all your time playing Destiny and learning as much time as you can about Destiny and going all in on that and just being part of that community than trying to spend all of your time on a bunch of different communities. Not that you can't do it that way. And like I said, that I wouldn't want to do it the way that I'm suggesting. I just think it's easier for you because games are so deep and the communities are so wide to pick something that you're passionate about and focus on it. And then like when people come to your channel, they can be like, oh, this is the Destiny guy, not like, oh, this is just another guy that's talking about games.
Ben, I think that's a super good point. Also on top of access to developers, I think it's easier to get that access if you are specialized, because I think there are studios and developers out there who, you know, they love attention. They'd love to be interviewed, and a lot of people won't interview them. And so if you're that person who's willing to interview them and focus on them and build that relationship, then that puts you one step up. I get the focus. I get that angle.
Cool. Our next question is actually one that I accidentally skipped over last month. And
Great.
so this is from Matt. I want to apologize for Matt for skipping over his question. But here it is. He says, what's up, allies? There are a lot of well-regarded video game franchises, far too many for any person to play all of them. We know Jones got into Pokemon for the first time recently, but are there any other franchises out there that the allies have a lot of respect for, despite not playing them except for a little bit or even at all?
Fire Emblem.
Nice.
What do you
Diablo.
respect about Fire Emblem?
Love those strategy RPGs, Ben. And the amount of depth that I'm hearing about from the characters, of people falling in love with these characters in a strategy RPG, really, really surprising me.
What did Damiani say?
He said
Oh,
Diablo.
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 Just because I hear the PvP in it is pretty good.
It's pretty easy to get into, Damiani.
Maybe the easiest.
Wait,
Yeah.
Diablo?
Yeah.
Like
I don't think Diablo's that
Blizzard game?
easy.
The
Blizzard
Blizzard?
Diablo. Is it
The
really that
PvP?
easy to? Yeah.
I think Diablo 3 is like an insanely easy game to get into.
Yeah.
Um,
Diablo 3, literally, like, you've probably played it without even realizing.
Damiani just like opens BattleNet one day and he's
Yeah,
maximum character.
slash playtime like 4,000 hours. What?
You're like, how?
Yeah.
Wake up one day and you're playing it. Ah.
I just played in my sleep. Apparently, I just never
Yeah.
know.
SimCity.
Ooh,
Whoa.
good one. A current one. I have a better answer for a current one. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Good
Since
one.
that thing is like
Good
so
one.
huge right now. Like it just sold 6 million copies in 6 months for like a pretty
Whoa.
unknown IP from an unknown developer. It's like, okay, is this like as big as, is this the next Minecraft? I'm like, I just see stuff about it. I'm like, okay, cool. It's a whatever game. And then now it's like, no, it's actually really big. I guess my version is every clip I see involves some kind of shooting. And I'm like, crap, is this like, this a straight up shooter, or is there actually more to it? Like, I really don't know enough about it. So
If you do it right, you could win without shooting once if you just avoid everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah, being good at shooting
Is
helps.
important.
Is
Yeah.
fun.
It's a fun game. It's really
Evo-
fun.
EVE Online is a game that I wish I could play, and I just love how insanely dedicated to its very specific audience that it's been, and it just feels like this whole separate video game world that I've never been able to penetrate. But just hearing the stories about EVE Online is pretty crazy and cool. A lot of respect for it.
I used to play EVE Online, and I recently, like, after playing a bunch of Elite Dangerous, hopped back in, and it feels pretty old to me now.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, Elite and those feel really good. I guess maybe that'd be my answer. Like, I wish I was better at Elite, and, like, when Star Citizen comes out, I hope I, like, understand how to control it.
Specifically, what do you wish you were better at?
Like, I play it, but I feel like I don't know everything that I'm supposed to be doing and stuff.
Sure.
You know?
How about you, Blood?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of something. It's just weird because I feel like so many of them are just things that I just haven't got into. But I guess I just broadly go into CRPGs. Haven't played a ton of like the original Fallouts or Wasteland or Divinity or any of those games.
Blood, will you play Divinity Original Sin 2 with me?
I mean, I would like to.
Let's
I mean,
do
that's the
that.
whole point of the question, right? That's
Yeah, you'd be a really good partner. That, like, I feel like other allies would get me killed, and I feel like you and I could really, really get some things done.
Ben, I would save your life.
That's true. You would save my life.
Can
would
you
carry
play the
me.
entire game multiplayer?
Yeah, you can play the entire thing co-op.
Great.
crazy.
Kyle, I want to go back to SimCity. What is it about SimCity that you respect but don't engage with?
I respect its systems, its simulations, and I just want no part of any of that. And I was thinking about top 10 RPGs as well, like all of them. I think they are games that I would love if the camera was just willing to be over their shoulders.
Sure.
I wonder.
And
I'm
it's just
sure
like-
there are mods that do that, or no, maybe probably not. They're not.
I don't think so. Yeah, they're
yeah,
meant to
they're
be stared down at, and it's like the perspective is the big hurdle for me to get over with for most of those games.
So you don't like isometric stuff?
Not that extreme.
I just started playing a new one called Kingdoms and Castles. That's pretty cute. You might like it. It's sort of like a Sim City thing, but castles. You can zoom in and be down.
I just saw Dark Knight's comment.
Dark Knight's saying, Huber will kill you. I have proof from last night's stream. So they were playing Jedi Academy together, and Huber betrayed Dark Knight, I believe, several times.
Multiple times.
Okay.
It's twice for sure. Yeah.
I was outside doing work, like putting frame trap up and stuff, and I just heard like screams of betrayal. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. Our next question comes in from Michael. He says, "Hello, Easy Allies. In the June Q&A, I discussed the remakes of Lotus and the Settlers games. The Lotus games are Amiga games developed by Magnetic Fields. Lotus 3 offers some of the best gaming music ever composed with songs like The Main Theme, Metal Machine, and Space Ninja. The Settlers series are real-time strategy games developed by Blue Byte and published by Ubisoft. Remix of the Settlers 1, 2, and 3 would have been nice. The first Settlers game is the best PC/Amiga game ever, according to me. Just some info about the games today. I have no questions, but discuss if you like. Love and respect." That's cool.
Yeah,
That's good information.
never played any of them.
Yeah.
I still don't know what's good.
You still don't know what's good?
Yeah.
I mean, you need to find with Lotus that's got really good music. But yeah, with Settlers, I'm not exactly sure why they're the best PC/Amiga games ever.
Yeah. Next month.
Next month, yeah, just give us more information.
Yeah.
We'll slowly learn everything there is to know about it. I'm kind of into that, though. I'm okay if some people are just like, here's an interesting nugget that you guys clearly know nothing about.
Yeah. Educate us.
Educate us. Help us. Our next question comes in from Robert. He says, "At one point, George Romero was supposed to direct the Resident Evil movie. It got far enough that he was interviewed by Electronic Gaming Monthly about it. Which deceased film director would you like to have seen direct a video game adaptation of your choosing?"
Kubrick.
Yeah, I immediately jumped to Kubrick.
What would he direct? Silent Hill? or something.
That could be good, yeah.
I think the Angry Birds movie.
Clock Tower.
Guess how many deceased filmmakers I know?
Well, this is a question where I think, like,
I've got
not having
Hubert
Brandon
Jones
and Hubert around.
Yeah.
Well, I've got the director, but I'm trying to think of what game I'm thinking Akira Kurosawa, but I don't
cool.
know what game I'd want him to direct. Neo, I mean, that'd be maybe 2 in his wheelhouse. Fatal Frame, that would be weird.
Ooh, I like that a lot. I like the Fatal Frame one.
Yeah. Kubrick doing Fatal Frame would be pretty gnar too.
Kubrick doing Okami.
That'd be fun.
Hmm.
Kubrick doing Final Fantasy Kingsglaive. Still CG.
I'm in.
Like, it would just tone it down so you could actually visually understand what was happening.
I would hope that his Kingsglaive movie, just everyone dies. Like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
invasion of insomnia is absolute, and there's no hope.
And that guy that betrays them, but then inexplicably comes back, and everyone's like, "You're a hero." They would just be like, "No, you're a terrorist, and we hate you."
He gets killed
And then
immediately.
the movie just ends.
Yeah.
He comes back and thinks that they're gonna receive him as a hero, and then the princess or whatever just shoots him in the head. Yeah, Kingsglaive.
Great.
Stanley Kubrick's Kingsglaive.
I'm glad we got that sorted out. Blood, you got anything? Damiani?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with Kyle. I'm like, I'm grasping at straws trying to think of anyone I know for sure.
Yeah, I am too. All right. Our next question. I'm sorry, Robert. I feel like we let you down there. That was a creative question. We just didn't have the personnel to give the best answers. Caden.
Huber.
Ouch.
Oh, no. You did good. Sorry. I just meant like it was just you and
Went
not
to film school.
Host of the Easy Allies Film Podcast.
Yeah. But Huber's not here, so whatever.
And I love you. Our next question comes in from Caden. What's your favorite superhero movie and superhero character / superhero character?
From a movie or at all?
So what he said is, what is your favorite superhero movie / superhero character? I think we can make those 2 separate things if you want.
Yeah.
Original Batman movie. Tim Burton one.
Good pick, Brad.
Just Batman general, dude.
I'm pretty into Greg Rucka's or Rucka Batwoman. That arc that started before New 52 is really good.
Is that purple? Purple?
She's got red hair and I think, normal suit. So
I'm thinking
no,
of Batgirl.
You're thinking of Batgirl. This is Batwoman.
Oh, Batwoman.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Batwoman looks like.
She's got red hair. She was in the army, and she's DC's like flagship. She's gay. There's a really good scene where she like lets herself. This is like right up front, so it's not really a spoiler. But she like lets herself get kicked out of the army because she refuses to lie about being gay. Pretty cool.
And that's like currently running? Batwoman?
It's like a different. So it was introduced in Detective Comics like 800 or whatever, and then it had a New 52 run, and now it's in like Rebirth or whatever DC's doing now. I'm still back in the New 52 stuff. It gets very confusing.
Okay.
But yeah, she's pretty cool.
Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. Big time. And I'm really struggling to like nail down favorite movie. Logan, no question. Actually, it's Logan.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man. Logan is so good.
Logan's good.
Yeah.
Favorite superhero is Batman. Nothing comes close. Favorite superhero movie is hard. I really like The Dark Knight a lot. But the Batman Beyond movie, Return of the Joker, is one that I love a lot. And and I've watched quite a few times since it first came out. So that's one that immediately jumps to mind. But I like a lot of the superhero movies. Logan is a good pick that I didn't think of.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is pretty good.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is good. Still haven't seen 2. Need to do that.
I didn't like it as much, but
Damiani,
did.
what do you got for me?
Was wrestling that. I think I'm gonna go with for film, probably Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
Nice.
I was trying to think if I liked one of the other DC animated ones. They were close. Like Under the Red Hood was close, but I think Mask of the Phantasm is probably the best of those. And I always like them more. Weird thing. I always wonder why the live action films, which have been having, except for Wonder Woman, have had troubles lately from the DC universe. And it's like they have these stellar animated films. And it's like, why don't they get the writers for the animated ones to write the live action ones? And I never get why they don't just do that, because it'd probably solve some problems.
They gotta keep having Zack Snyder do everything for some reason.
I think Snyder needs to go, but
we'll
see. Although I do feel bad for what happened to him. So
yeah.
For actual like superhero, not to go with like everyone else's. I've actually always liked Patrick Stewart's Xavier, like in the X-Men movies. Like I really like that character, and then I really liked what they did once they brought him, like they did the depiction of the Days of Future Past when they made him young and stuff, and I was like, oh well, what's his face is depicting him, and I was like, I liked seeing that backstory. So plus in the original animated series, like I just liked Xavier's stuff and the whole thing with him, and like when he got who's the patient he had to like inhabit, and then there's like I'm forgetting names left and right here because it's been so long, but I was always fascinated with his storyline and stuff, so it's good stuff.
I was really hoping that was going to end with, but it's Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you started out not to do whatever.
Yeah, it's okay. You could say Batman now, man.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Batman's the
Lego
the best.
Batman.
Whoa.
Lego Batman was
No.
yes.
Seen
No.
Lego Batman was pretty good. when they make fun of like the history of Batman was a pretty good scene. I like that a lot.
Spoilers. Blood, did we get an answer from you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Batman is definitely the easy answer on those for whatever reason. Probably because of the animated series.
There's just too much good Batman.
Yeah, well, and then the '60s before that and everything. Yeah, so but like everyone else, I'm kind of struggling with like which movie like I'd actually want to like get behind, because I feel like anyone that I pick, I'm like, well, kind of not all the way into that, or there's a ton of them that I haven't seen. But I guess I'll do some. Maybe that first Spider-Man movie. I like that. I think that was probably one of the best Spider-Man movies. They haven't really lived up to that, although I haven't seen a new one yet. But
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 is pretty good too. Yeah.
The new one is pretty good. Homecoming.
Yeah.
I haven't seen, I need to go to the movies. Baby Driver, Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Sort
I
of.
need to go to the movies.
Sort of.
Yes.
Lego Batman.
Lego Batman, yeah. I didn't know they covered the history of Batman.
Dunkirk.
It's kind of interesting. Dunkirk, that's another one, yeah.
Apes.
I haven't seen a lot of those movies though, so
You could probably skip it then.
can bail. Next question comes in from Joseph. He says, "Hey allies, with Knack 2 and Lawbreakers being announced at E3 at $40 and $30 games respectively, I'd like to ask your opinion on the perception of the static $60 price tag most AAA games in the United States. As an example, I was way more willing to give last year's Ratchet & Clank and Overwatch a chance because they were each $40, and I ended up loving both. But strangely, I'm not sure if I ever would have bought them at launch had they been $60. Not only does the smaller investment give me less hesitation for an impulse purchase, but there's an added level of trust and understanding when a publisher confidently states the lower price of their game. But on the other hand, consumers can subconsciously perceive a cheaper game as having less value, having the reverse effect on sales. Should publishers be more flexible with their initial price points to better reflect a game's scope, or should they continue to release games at $60 and let the market decide their value over time?
I mean, yeah, I think that. I mean, think about Hellblade. They specifically said we wanted to do, they call it independent AAA. They wanted to do a shorter game at a lower price point, but still deliver that amount of quality.
Mhm.
And I like how Lawbreakers, I mean, they pepper it with a bunch of swear words, but I like how they're like, yeah, I mean, it's a multiplayer only game that's worth $30. Like, because I mean, the first Star Wars Battlefield or whatever, Grounds, whatever it is, Front, there it is. They're all the same to me. Being 60 was kind of crazy, and yeah. So I think that I wish people were more flexible. I wish developers would, like Battlefront should have been 40, probably.
It wasn't a 40 budget though.
Well, that's their problem. Like, make a $60 game if you're going to charge $60. You know.
They did well. I mean, they spent enough money for it to be a $60 game on their end. Their
Right,
investment,
but that's
was
their fault. That's their fault. You know what I mean, though? Like, that's their problem. Like, make it with $60 worth of content if you're going to spend a budget of a $60 game. If you don't, then you messed up.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that they focused on the wrong things, for sure. But in that case, like Overwatch was a $60 console game.
Mhm.
You know, it was 40 on PC, but you spent $60 on that game on consoles as well.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Yeah. You know, I get the idea of like content, but also like, and this EA does this on purpose. They want AAA to look a certain way. And so they spend money on graphics and making a game look a certain way so that you have this expectation of what $60 looks like.
But then it's a foregone conclusion to them that you will pay $60. And I think people should say, nah, like,
I think
vote with your wallet.
the perspective that we oftentimes forget is when I was working at a video game store, I would have a lot of people come in who didn't read up on game news. They just like didn't care enough or weren't invested enough to like know about game previews, or they didn't follow like YouTubers or anything like that. And they would go and they would look at the game and they would look at the back of the box and they would ask questions. And sometimes the question they would ask is this a new game? And if the answer was yes, why is it cheaper than other things?
Right.
And more often than not, because it was cheaper, they would put it back on the shelf. They wanted, like, there was just this perception of they wanted something new, and $60 indicated a certain level of quality. And so I think a lot of times that's why you have these games be more expensive is because of that perception. And I think it all just comes down to communication. I think if you're getting out there and you're really adamant about like, hey, this is what this is, I think your potential benefits, like you're going to be reaching more people, that you'll kind of overcome those that have that weird skewed view of a lower price point, meaning lower quality. But,
I think for me, it's just kind of pick a price point. Like, I know people kind of get on Nintendo for never dropping their prices on games, but to me, it makes way more sense to like figure out what price your game is going to be than to put it out at $60 and like 5 weeks later drop it down. Like that's where it's strange to me, is that like they basically are putting games out at lower price points, but they'll just get the people that are really excited to pay more first. You know? It's like,
so that basically means that these $60 games are worth $40 to them.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, but at the same time, I get what, what Ben's saying. It's like, I feel like, with those Ratchet and Clank games and stuff, them being at a cheaper price point and not getting necessarily the kind of stage attention or marketing attention, it feels like Sony doesn't care that much about Ratchet and Clank right now, even though they had a movie and everything.
I also have to wonder if it has to do with genres as well, because I think when you're talking about shooters, you're dealing with the absolute biggest budgets, the things that most people are aware of. Your Call of Duties, your Overwatches, your Battlefields. Whereas when you do a platformer like Ratchet and Clank, a lot of your competition outside of Mario, which is only exclusive to Nintendo, are cheaper indie games anyway. And so maybe that issue of perception isn't quite as difficult.
That's a good point.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when did that go? I was thinking about this the other day. When did that go up to 60. I remember when the companies like made a decision. They're like, games are 60 now.
It was last generation.
Yeah.
So
PS4.
Xbox 360.
it was Xbox 360, and
Oh,
at the
last
launch of Xbox 360, you had $60 games, and then you also had $40 games. Like it wasn't everything was 60. There was some
because
flexibility.
games used to be 40, right? It used to be $39.99 was like the price.
50 was kind of the
50
the
was
price.
50 was
Yeah.
common.
Okay.
I mean, games used to be way more expensive way back in the day too. Like NES games, somewhere like $80.
yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that is, that's the thing, is it wasn't really that standardized until, I don't know, I'd
Like
say
PS2 era. I
late
felt like.
PlayStation, early PlayStation 2 era, yeah, because like you're saying, like I brought this up before, but game prices were so like weirdly regional back in the day.
Yeah.
So in my hometown, I never saw any games above $50 except on the N64. That's when they kind of went up a little bit higher, but at the Super Mario Brothers 3 and everything else, it was like $50. Like that was kind of the cap. And
It's like gas prices.
Yeah.
but then I look at the listings, from the old magazines, and I see what everything was listed at, and I'm like, whoa, this is like, we're super expensive. There's like $80 listings on some of these games.
Crazy. What were you gonna say, Ben? Sorry.
Somebody in chat mentioned something interesting. Bring back sort of the AA market where you would have smaller games, but that were on a disc and sitting on the shelf. Like I feel like you did have this AA market in the PS2 era, in the 360 area that has kind of been phased out. And I think the reason it's been phased out is the rise of downloadable games.
Yep.
I think all of that stuff is just because the marketplace has changed. The way that those games get distributed has changed. How much they cost has changed. And so I don't think you can bring it back. I think we've just like reached a point where that can't return in the same way that it did before. It's just mutated. So
Yeah, because physical is an unnecessary expense, I think.
right.
Yeah, I think there's a lot in that $5 to $20 range, and I think there's a fair number of the $40 games. It's like that gap, maybe the $30. There's not that many $30 price points.
Our next question comes in from Professor Metal Gear. He says, have any of the allies been inspired to actually try out something new or creative because of video games or something video game related? Which games set off that inspiration?
Rock Band made me think that I could play drums.
Did you buy a drum kit?
Didn't buy a drum kit, but I borrowed one.
Whoa.
We
How
played
did that
musical.
turn out?
Did you get any noise complaints?
Yeah, so what you do is you just put like pillow clothes and pillowcases on your drums, so it just softens them out.
Wait, did you say that you put on a musical?
Yeah, we put on a musical, yeah.
When was this?
This was many years ago, pre-GT.
Is
there
this on
a
the
tape?
internet somewhere?
It's
Oh,
not
this
on the
is-
internet. No tape. It's gone.
Wow.
You need to just hold on to that one. That's just Kyle's.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let anyone know that.
It's in your heart.
But yeah, in a weird way, Rock Band, like obviously you're not learning guitar on Rock Band, but in drums you kind of understand the concept of how it would work, and it was actually kind of informative.
Were you a good drummer?
No, I'm still bad, but competent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it
Because
made
of
you,
it. Thank
you
you,
like it
Rock
and you tried it,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah. Definitely like video game music. I've found inspiring a lot. And storytelling stuff, interactive storytelling. Definitely I've been inspired to try to make games too. So
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater made me skateboard.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, like,
it made you.
I was a kid, right? And I could ollie, but I couldn't
Nice.
do anything else, really. I just thought that skateboarding was so cool, and I wanted to do it, and I wanted to go to the skate park and be with the cool kids. It wasn't like a serious pursuit, but it was fun.
Because of the game Skitchin', we started skitching behind each other's bikes with rollerblades. That was directly because of the game
Nice.
Skitchin'.
On
We'd always-
strangers' cars?
No, on each other's bikes. I
Oh,
think
gotcha, I
when
get
we were
it.
a little older, I think we tried it on my friend's car too, but it was mostly on bikes because we were like, early teens.
When was the last time any of you
Kitchen.
rollerbladed or roller skated?
I don't have rollerblades anymore.
Yeah.
There's
I've
a
been
cool,
looking at those Cardiff skates that you hook onto your shoes. Those look interesting.
There's a cool roller skating rink in LA. I went to a birthday party there where you just roller skate, and it's like that's actually super fun.
Oh,
It's fun to roller skate.
dude, let's go.
Yeah, please.
Episode of Easy Update. Let's all go roller skating. Oh my god.
That's a really good idea. It's a really good
That's
idea.
like for real. Tonight's episode, we're all Sims. I made us in Sims 3.
That's a super good idea for an episode.
Yeah.
The
Wait, all
sinkers-
9 of us are in it?
Really.
You can only do 8, so I had to make Huber and Brad one person. So
No, are you joking?
no, it's real.
Makes sense.
I made you. You're called Bruber.
That's not fair.
It's like us just fusing with the Dragon Ball earrings, dude. Makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
I have no idea
Oh
what
my
you're talking
God.
about.
That's for Kyle and Ben.
Yeah, I got you.
I didn't even hear it because I was just trying to visualize this fused character.
Yeah, just make sure Berber has 2 earrings, Ian. That's the only important part.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing that sucks is I lost the first hour of capture because OBS crashed and I was doing MP4, so I had to do the next hour. So I lost all of character creation.
Would you do MOV instead of MP4? What is that?
Now I changed it to FLV because it closes constantly.
Okay.
So like even if it crashes, you have everything up to that point, and then you just have to convert it because Premiere can't do FLVs because FLV sucks. But like, it's good for not crashing. So,
Yay.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty weird
There's an easy fix for FLV.
for FLV.
Built into OBS. Takes like 5 seconds to convert.
Ooh, we got an Omar scoop right now.
Omar is
Omar
scooping.
from
He
Funhouse.
says that there's a Omar from Funhouse sitting not 3 feet to my right playing Overwatch. Says that OBS can close a FLV into an MP4 in like 5 minutes.
Yo,
5
Bender is
seconds.
on the hunt, by the way.
Bender's on the hunt. The hounds. Bender, what's up? Bender.
Blood, has the game ever inspired you to pursue something?
I mean, I don't know about a game directly, but you know, I definitely got into. Yeah, I did a lot of drawing out of Nintendo Power stuff. You know, back in the day, drew a lot of Mega Man and Super Metroid and Final Fantasy VI.
Did you ever submit to Nintendo Power?
Yeah, I had some of those envelope arts.
Okay.
I think, yes, Metroid in particular. But you know,
I
back
would love
then
to
it's
see
like
this stuff.
we
Did they
didn't
get
have
in?
a. I don't remember anything actually getting into Nintendo Power.
Damn.
But it got on the wall, right? You saw it at the Nintendo office.
No, I mean, if it got on the wall, it would be impossible to find it because that wall
okay.
was ridiculous back in the day. But yeah, who knows? Yeah, I do have one sketchbook. Another one got lost in a move, which was really annoying. But
Damn.
You still have it?
I have one. I have the
Oh.
earlier one. I don't have the newer one that had the Final Fantasy stuff.
Bring it in.
Publish it.
Make a Tumblr.
Make a Tumblr.
Brad, how about you? Oops,
Just
I'm
copy.
sorry.
No, not that I can think of.
Definitive no.
Because like growing up, I was playing like a lot of JRPGs. I don't know what they could inspire me to do. Like I can't really go off and save the world or something like that.
Brad,
I mean, when you were a kid, did you like make costumes or pretend or anything like that? I don't know.
From video games? No, not really.
He's just too cool.
Brad, you used to be a hairstylist, right?
Yeah.
Was there ever a time where you saw a hairstyle in a video game and you said, I could do that? And then you tried it?
Did you ever give anyone the cloud?
Yeah,
No.
or a squall.
Those are all ridiculous.
You could give someone a squall.
I mean, it's possible, but getting someone, Kyle, to say, "Hey, I'm going to give you this haircut and show them a video game character," usually doesn't go over that well, especially if it's like a PS1 CG
Wait,
character.
Usually, what? Wait, you have
It would never go over well. It would never go over well. Highly unrealistic.
Okay.
Hey, can you give me the
Look at
skull?
this guy. He's
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Whoa, nice.
You could do that. It's
Dude.
incredible.
Brad, I want
Is that just a book you had lying around right next to you with skull?
I got 3 monitors, man.
Oh,
I
I thought
can
it was
do
yeah.
miracles.
It was your Final Fantasy VIII book, and you're just like, yeah, here's skull.
This is my hairstyles of Final Fantasy book.
Brad, give me that, dude.
Can you
All right. You gotta
Boston
grow that
hat?
out. You gotta grow that out for a while, then.
Yeah,
Grow
give
your
me
hair
your
out.
hair.
Give me
give
the
me this
skull.
one? The
Which one?
who's that? Yuffie?
The
Who's that?
selfie?
selfie.
I mean, that's possible.
Wing me out,
You
Brad.
just need like rollers right there and let them
Yeah.
sit for a long time.
I'm kind of already got it.
Damiani, have you ever been inspired by a video game?
I did a bit of what Blood talked about. I don't think it was necessarily just the games, but Nintendo Power covers. I used to trace those and then try and redraw them. Like I remember the Mega Man X cover, like spending a lot of time like trying to draw that pose that X did. I think when this is like elementary school, and same thing. I remember trying to write some like fan fiction stories about some of like the games and stuff like that. But
Whoa, fan fiction?
yeah, like
Dude.
Star Fox.
Do you have any?
Wait, Star Fox fan fiction?
Star Fox.
God damn! We gotta find this. Oh my
that
Do you remember any of these stories?
the only one I can remember was one of them was literally one of the Star Fox things was literally I had just watched The Man in the Iron Mask and I made my version of that in Star Fox. And
I love this. This is the best.
Hey, boss, or hey, Damiani, what username might you have posted these under?
it was never online. These were all like Reddit and notebooks and stuff. Like,
Oh man,
yeah,
I'm feverishly googling Damiani
these
Star
are-
Fox
these
fan
are-
fiction.
these were not. These were not posted online. Sorry.
Broke Kyle. You broke Kyle.
30 years from now, Kyle's like on eBay bidding for like some lost like Star Fox script. He goes, they found it. I must have this. I must make a sketch out of this.
This is a whole episode of Friend Code now.
I feel like this is the slowest we've ever done at a Q&A before.
Yeah, I mean, when you have fan fiction,
Yeah.
Star Fox Man,
This
and
is the
Iron Mask,
best Q&A now.
we do what we can.
The Iron Mask Star Fox fan fiction.
What? Oh, I gotta read it. I gotta read it.
Damiani, please find it.
Our next question comes in from Kit. What obscure games would you call a favorite of yours? One of my favorites of all time is Ogre Battle 64, and no one knows what I'm talking about. So I'd like to
I've
hear
always
what,
wanted to play that game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
so I'd like to hear what kind of games you all like that it seems like no one knows.
I've talked about it. I've made a video about it before, but I'll do it again because it's easy and it's great. It's Legacy of the Ancients, and it's an RPG. It was my first RPG. It was published by EA in 1987, I believe, for the Commodore 64, and it's got a top-down overworld, but first-person dungeons. And you have to manage food. You have to buy climbing gear to go over mountains. You rent boats. I remember that's like the first time I ever saw the words like embark and disembark to get on and off boats. There's all kinds of crazy sea creatures out in the ocean attacking you.
What is that video still online?
Yeah, it's still online. You can find it. Blood War's first RPG.
Cool.
And then there's like all these other crazy stuff that you wouldn't expect at games that back then, like little gambling mini games. Blackjack is in there. There's a really cool way of like raising your stats. There are like these training mini games where like you raise your defense stat by just like moving your character to like different directions to block fireballs being shot at a shield. And if you do well, like your defense goes up. If you do poorly, your defense goes down. And then I had a similar one for your attack rating. And then you could get loans to pay for weapons, or you could also, if you did it right, you could actually like kill the banker and rob the bank. And then anytime you would go back into that town, like alarms would go off and all the guards would come rushing at you. So,
But you robbed the bank. You're set for life.
well, not really. The banks didn't always have that much money. But yeah, so it's just a lot of stuff in the game that the art is a little stick figure guy, and that's that's about it.
For me, I know it's not an obscure game, but the experience with Parappa the Rapper this year has been pretty rough because I expected this remaster to come out and for everyone to love it. And that was not the case. The remaster came out and everybody hated it. And now it's back into obscurity. And I realize it's not a deep cut, but it's that feeling of, isn't this great? And then like no response. That's what it feels like for Parappa for sure.
Well, it just seemed like a lot of people said, I used to love this, but it doesn't hold up. And you're just sitting there going like, no, this is as great as it's always been.
Yeah.
Because no one understands the weird system of a rhythm game where you're not supposed to be on rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to people. It's still too early. They're not
Still
ready.
too early.
They'll get it. All right, 10 more years. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
10 more.
I feel that way about Samurai Gun. I mean, it's not obscure really, but like, I definitely feel like, because I think it's like the best local multiplayer of that ilk, like on the planet Earth, and I feel like no one believes me. Also, I recently rediscovered my love for Zork Nemesis.
Oh,
That
yeah.
game rules. That game is so good. It's so good. Oh man.
What is Zork Nemesis?
So it's a weird like later. So Zork started out as like a MUD, like a text game only,
Yeah.
and then like they were always kind of like funny, kind of and weird. And then Zork Nemesis is like a later one that's like loosely connected, kind of standalone, but it's like pretty dark and pretty serious. But it has it's an
it's
FMV.
serious?
It's kind of serious. It's not all that funny. It's got FMV like real life full motion video actors in it, but like the acting is good, which is kind of unheard of. I mean, like I love Seventh Guest and stuff, but the acting in that is hilarious, you know. But this is actually like, whoa, I actually care about this guy murdering your kids. Like, yeah, Zork Nemesis. I did a stream a while ago. I should stream the next parts of it. Oh man, that game is good.
We were big like gateway computer people growing up when I was a very young kid, and you would like buy a gateway computer and you'd get a demo disc of all these different PC games. And I remember playing a PC game based on Eraser, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It wasn't very good, but a game that was really good was called POD. It stands for Planet of Death. And it's like this futuristic racing game set in like this post-apocalyptic world. And it was just really fun. You like do pretty crazy jumps and bump into people, and the stages were really neat. And it's cool.
Yeah, dude,
Played
this game
well.
was crazy.
Nice.
On a keyboard, or well enough anyway. I could get over it. But yeah,
Hook on Super Nintendo is one of my. I love that game. It's a Capcom side scroller on Super Nintendo, based off the Hook movie.
I
It's
think I
so
remember the
good.
box art. I don't think I ever played it.
So good, but you walk really slowly for some reason. But it's so fun.
Are you Peter Pan?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and when you
You gotta
die,
stream
Kyle,
it.
he like goes into Robin Williams form, just like falls to the level. It's weird.
Like Samus in Super Metroid, but
Yeah.
like you just turn
Yeah.
into Robin Williams.
yeah, and he's just like
Cool.
Another quick one is Thrasher on PS1, skateboarding game. Right after Tony Hawk, I think, came out. It was made by Rockstar, but it was just a lot slower pace, a lot harder to do tricks. Like you weren't doing a insane amount of tricks and like just chaining stuff together. It was much more methodical and slow pace, like normal skateboarding. But I remember if you took too long on a level, it would go first person, and like a cop was chasing you with a taser, and he'd taser you if you didn't get away. Pretty cool stuff.
I just Ben reminded me of a game that I used to play with my dad all the time called Gearheads. It was from 1996, and it's you have all these little wind-up toys, and you're on two sides of a board trying to send them over at each other, and like different ones have different power. Man, I'm looking at a video of it right now, and it's just memories. Game is ridiculous. Gearheads.
You gearhead.
something that the other guys do that I wish I would have thought of and like enacted sooner is I always wanted to make a show where we just go and we played old demo discs.
Oh my god.
and then Giant Bomb did it, and I was just like shaking my fist in anger because it's such a good idea. It's such a fun idea.
My friends who have been on a few of our things, the Folkmans who wrote Massive Chalice, they have little binders of every PlayStation, like PlayStation Magazine, PlayStation Now, whatever it was called,
Jam
demo
Pack?
disc, Jam Pack. Yeah, they have all of them. So
Oh,
like
man.
they had a party called Jam Pack Party, and we just played through all these demo discs, and it was glorious. Like the menus, they had menus. There was so many memories. We
And if you
through
hit
Shiva
L1
Blade.
and R1, there's secret stuff in the menus too.
Oh my god. Brilliant idea for a party. We should do that show anyway. Like we should just do it.
We can find her on Twist. We can
Yeah.
find a way to do it.
Make it a tournament somehow.
Our next question comes in from Adam. He says,
How about-
"Hey, Alice."
I'm sorry, I have a weird idea. So for the stream, it's like gambling, and it's who can make the better compliment. And so like you gamble, like I can make like a level 2 compliment, and you're like, no, I can make a level 3 compliment. Okay, I'm gonna call your bluff. Let's see. And then if you win, yeah, and then if you win the compliment, no, to each other. And then so if you do a level 3 compliment, you get to play that demo.
Who determines what level to come?
Yeah, what's the difference between a level 2 compliment and a level 3
This is the most Bossman idea I've ever heard.
Hey, this is terrible.
All right, Ben. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Our next question comes in from Adam. Hey, allies. I've recently dusted off my Xbox 360, and I've been going through some of the great games that haven't been remastered for this generation yet. 2 of the best games I played were Splinter Cell Blacklist and Splinter Cell Conviction. Did any of the allies play Conviction, or more specifically, the fantastic co-op mode? Yes. I played co-op Conviction, and it is amazing. It's so good. So you're going through these missions together, and at the very end, you turn against each other, and you have to try to like outsmart each other and outsneak each other, and it's really, really fun. I know people don't like Conviction for how different it is, but man, I had a great time with it.
Do you
It's
kill
like
each
the
other?
Definition of
Yeah, you kill
uneasy
each other.
life.
Yeah, it is. It's the definition of an easy alliance. It would be a great stream.
And he said it's split screen too, right?
Yeah, no. Is it? I don't remember if it's split screen or not. I believe I played it locally, so it would have to be.
Yeah.
It's been years. I don't remember.
Yeah, Conviction was one of those games that like sat on my PC backlog for a long time, and I never did get around to playing more than the first mission. I did end up reviewing Blacklist and really liked that, but it didn't have that kind of mode. Had the more traditional Spies versus Mercs, which they did really well.
Has anybody else played Conviction or Blacklist?
I haven't played any Splinter Cell game.
Same,
Just
Brad.
all.
Me neither. I don't think I've ever played any of them.
Our next question comes in from Joey and Kate. Favorite Dragon Ball Z character, and why is it not Goku?
Vegeta. I like that he's always behind Goku in strength, and he always works for it to get to Goku's level. Like in the movie or whatever, where he, for Super Kyle, where they all like touch Goku, like 4 Saiyans to make him God mode, and Vegeta just does it through sheer work.
Yeah.
Love that stuff.
Well, and also Brad, also Vegeta. Vegeta gets there because he loves his wife and daughter.
Yeah,
Goku's just like, I want to be stronger, but like Vegeta
he's
has
got that pride
love.
of a Saiyan.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't he the bad guy? Is he the bad guy?
He was at a point, long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Also Vegeta.
He's just badass too,
I think Vegeta's a more interesting
moves,
character than
too.
Goku.
for sure.
Nice.
Though I don't think it's wrong to focus on Goku. I think it is.
Absolutely not.
I think he's a great
Yeah.
protagonist.
They're the good contrast from each other. That's why they work so well.
Yep. Damiani, who's your favorite DBZ character, dude?
None, because I never watched DBZ. I can give you an OG Dragon Ball character.
All right, and we'll tell you if that character is still alive in DBZ.
Okay. I laughed. I won't pick any of the main characters. Tao Pai Pai, the assassin that they send to kill Goku. he's like the first. He seemed like the first real threat when I was watching. I was like, oh shit! Like this guy like one shots people, and even Master Roshi was like, oh no, Tao Pai Pai is going against Goku. This cannot be good. And like Goku gets like wrecked by Tao Pai Pai, and it has to like climb that giant tower to like see what the turtle at top and get like it was like Roshi's friend and get like the superpower or whatever, super strength, and go back down.
It wasn't a turtle up there, dude.
What was it again? I forget what it was up there.
It's a cat.
The cat. It was a cat. It was a rabbit. It was some animal.
Oh yeah,
what animal was up there? And it might have been I thought it was a rabbit because it was trolling Goku.
You're talking about the cat with the cane?
Staff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his cat.
What's his name? I forgot.
Totally forget. But Goku gets the power, comes down. Tao Pai Pai is like so sure of himself. He's like, whatever, Goku, I'm gonna bully you away. And Goku wins finally. But
here's the cool thing about that, Damiani, is that like that has ripples throughout the rest of that series. Like it was a big deal that Goku was able to kill Tao Pai Pai. I like that. Consequences.
My favorite character is probably Trunks, but I also really like Frieza a lot. I think outside of Vegeta, but Vegeta kind of becomes a friend. Like the only person that always stayed a villain, I think Frieza is like easily the best in Dragon Ball Z out of any of them. I think Cell is not as good in comparison. I think Boo is not as good as in comparison because like Frieza has the most history with these people. Frieza feels like he does like the most, like Cell is like just trying to become this perfect organism, and Frieza wipes out an entire race. Like the stakes just felt the highest. And like when Goku fights Frieza after he killed Krillin and all of this stuff, like that, my desire for Goku to win was never stronger than that moment, I think, in the entire series. So I really like Frieza a lot. Blood, favorite Dragon Ball character?
Is there one named Dragon Ball? I don't.
No. Let's just say it's Piccolo.
Piccolo's real good.
Yeah, Piccolo's a sick character.
It's a good pick, Blood.
It's
That's good.
it's funny because I know a lot of these names, but I don't know anything about them other than maybe what they look like, and a lot of them I don't actually know what they look like.
It's Piccolo.
So the cat's name starts with a K and ends with an N. Korin.
Majin Buu.
Korin.
Majin Buu's a good pick, Bud.
Majin Buu.
Big pink guy. That's all I know.
Majin Buu sucks.
Majin Buu.
Also, what was Master Roshi's sister's name or whatever? The one who had like
Baba.
Yeah.
Oh, the witch?
Baba's awesome.
Yeah, the witch.
That's a pick I
They go do like yeah. That part was cool too.
What bothers me about Dragon Ball Z is there are a lot of cool characters from Dragon Ball that they bring over and talk about, and then in Dragon Ball Z, time just goes on and they completely forget about them. Like you don't see them at all again.
Ben.
Super.
Ben, what about if in Super, like Baba is still relevant?
But it's not just like they show up for 1 second. Like Baba says things in Super and is relevant to the story.
Yes.
Because Baba's awesome.
She is clutch in Super.
And it doesn't just happen with Baba.
No. Super is good, dude.
Ben, the problem with that is that series has been going on so long, and there's so many characters, and none of those characters can do anything in like fights, so they just get left on the side because they're all weaklings.
Kyle, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is Chaozu relevant in Super?
No.
I saw Chaozu last night in an episode I watched though, Ben, and he did something.
Do they mention Launch at all?
No, she's still gone. She's still way gone.
Launch is filler. Like they erased her.
Because doesn't Launch, like you see a shot of Launch in the Buu saga when Goku is summoning a spirit bomb? It's either Cell or Buu.
I think it's
like
Cell.
Is it Cell? Okay.
Yeah.
And you just like see a shot of Launch.
She's at a bar and then never again.
We may have strayed off the path here.
Okay, sure.
All right. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Good point. Next question comes in from Silent Consonant. Aggressive gamer scream heard in an arcade. Daddy's home. Yeah, you like that. Trash talking is a weird part of the gaming experience. I don't think I've ever overheard in an arcade before. It's a little jarring in that context than hearing it yelled at you over a headset in an online shooter. So, allies, I want to know, what over-the-top expression do you all exhibit while playing the game? Do you slam your controller in anger, exclaim, "Yeah, baby," when you succeed in an extremely difficult area of the game? Or just tell Thor to uninstall when your team goes down in flames? Spare the dirt.
Were we streaming when that happened, Ben?
Yeah, I
No.
think we were straight. No.
Thor uninstall was not at live.
We just told the story later?
Yeah. You were all
I
playing
was
together.
playing with you, yeah.
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 Thor uninstall.
I didn't say that via voice chat. I typed it out. But
Typed
for those
it.
who don't know, we were playing Smite, and there's a Thor that was aggravating me, and I typed Thor uninstall. I was just a
A
total
moment
jerk.
of weakness.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Ben, no. And then
Hey,
you
so
felt
Ian, question
Huh?
for you.
bad. Yeah.
I feel like I'm less aggressive and angry when I play competitive games now, but maybe I just tell myself that. Like maybe I'm still just aggressive and angry.
I mean, it's been a while, but I think you've chilled out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ian. Do any of you have bad habits while gaming? Trash talking?
Yeah.
Definitely not trash talking. I guess if anything that I blurt out, it probably most frequently is just like, what just happened?
Or
You get shot or something happens. Yeah, it's just like, yeah.
I got in the habit of saying "you wish." You wish. So even if something good happens, I'll say "you wish." But if something bad happens to me, if I get killed, I'll say "you wish." Still, "you wish" is just I say that a lot. I don't know where that
I
comes
like
from,
that.
but
I like that.
frequent.
Nick Plessis had a pretty
Coward.
Yeah, Nick Plessis, he's the most hilarious person. He works for Electronic Gaming Monthly now. He's the most hilarious person to watch games because, as Brad said, if somebody shot him in the back, he would just be like, he would scream, be like, "That guy's a coward.
You coward.
You coward. Fight me fair." And he would just get so angry about it. And then there were things that like clearly were not glitches. He
Nope.
would just die and he'd go, "Oh, okay, way to abuse the glitch."
Nice glitch, yeah.
Glitch hack.
He's got a glitch. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really say the glitch one. I definitely find myself muttering under my breath "coward" sometimes, though, just because that was so hilarious. I want to hear from Damiani. I want to hear what Damiani.
I think I use a lot of profanity. I think the worst was probably the Ghost and Goblins stream.
Yeah.
I think I shouted a lot at that. I think there were some people who were like, "I'm actually scared right now. There's so much profanity in this stream." I was like, "Oh well, this is the most aggravating game I've ever played in my life. I'm so angry at it right now. Who thought this is a good game to make?" Hit detection is a good one.
Hit detection.
I'll scream about hit detection a lot. I don't do the like Nick Places the glitch thing. There are a lot of times in PvP I will be like, "Oh, I just didn't have all my stuff up." Like if I had all my stuff up, I would totally have wrecked you and stuff. So like I have a habit of I have the ability when I die, I can still mark that player with an icon above their head. So I can, when I come back, I can go track them down and I'll have like everything up, all my abilities up for that. I'm like, all right, let's see how you do now when I have all my stuff up. It's like,
In 14?
But that's not fair because they don't have all their stuff up.
I didn't have like, the worst is when I have like nothing up and I'm on fumes and I'm trying to run away, especially in the new system where like everything's so gimped now. Like, it's just like, yeah, you're going to kill me. What do you expect? Like, I just want to make it as annoying as possible for you before I die. And then I'm going to mark you and come back. I'm going to find you. And it's going to be like, yeah, let's do a fair 1v1 now. And let's see what's up.
Let's see what's up.
I'm really glad I don't play MOBAs anymore because they brought out the worst in me. And like the number one thing that would trigger me is when you would have somebody shit talking on your team and they'd be acting all high and mighty, and then you get in there, they'd be the first one to die. I mean, you're a minute into the match and you see, you know, this person that was shit talking died, and then they just start blaming the entire team. I couldn't. I could never hold back. Like I would always get into an argument with them because it's like these are the worst. These are the worst people where they are the ones dragging everyone else down, and they're blaming their entire team. It would drive me insane.
Victims.
So yeah, that's why I don't play MOBAs anymore.
I
Brad,
think this.
do you ever get mad?
I get frustrated sometimes. I don't think I've actively like typed in chat like provoking someone out of nowhere or anything like that.
That's not true.
When?
You called people nerds in Final Fantasy
Oh
14.
yeah, that's all fun though. Like we
That
go in a
was
lobby,
Nerds.
we go in a
That was
lobby
not out of
and I call
anger or
it nerd.
spite. Yeah,
We
that was
leave.
just like for
Yeah,
fun.
or I call people geeks or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Brad told me that he was disgusted by what he was seeing. There was anger there.
I mean, yeah, I like making fun of people, but I never do like really anything serious or malicious like that.
Yeah. I don't type any of that stuff in. It seems like such a waste. And also like whenever I see anyone type stuff like that, I think like immediately like you're an immature child. Like
Yeah.
if you can't keep it to yourself, like you feel the need to express it. Thankfully there's no voice chat in 14 PvP, but like at least there's typing, so it's like you see people get angry at each other very rarely, but it happens, and it's like that's so stupid. Like why do you even bother with that? Like just keep it to yourself. Who cares? Like no one cares that you're typing that in there. Like most 90% of the time those comments go ignored and no one acknowledges it, and the person just like, oh, no one cares, I'm just not going to type anymore because it's worthless. But at the same time, like yeah, when I'm showing profanities and stuff, like it's always like not at people directly. It's just like just frustration, profanity. It's like this game. It's most 90% of the time it's at the game. It's like I'm getting angry at the game itself.
Right.
Like the game's code. Literally angry at the game's code. Like it was like an actual person.
Yeah, I think I just go like a lot, like that.
Yeah, it's always verbalized, or I've noticed the more like PvP I played, the less I feel that worked up feeling. It's more like a feeling of disappointment when I lose or get defeated. It's like, oh, that I'll be like, that sucks. Oh, but I can just go right back and like, try again and stuff. And I found that like through just being exposed to it and doing it enough, that feeling goes away. I'm sure there was more at stake. I might get like maybe more worked up. I don't know. Like I'm sure like in high level competitive stuff where maybe there's money or your rank. Like you have a ranking like in like MOBAs or in like Overwatch or Hearthstone or anything, like you could get knocked down to like a lower ranking. That might cause you to be way more frustrated when you lose, but kind of like when it's just like for fun, it's so like just whatever. It's like I don't even like care half the time anymore. It's like that sucks.
I remember on that stream one time where I like threw the controller backwards. I just meant to drop it on the couch, but I like
that was
accidentally
funny.
threw it. I don't remember what game that was though.
NBA Playgrounds.
I thought you were like tossing it to someone. Like,
Yeah.
I was kind of just like tossing it back, but it like went way more aggressive than I thought it would.
Toxic.
Oh, but I
I
did not.
think it
like
was
that.
at me.
It might have been. I was like, whatever. Who's next? Oh, man.
During my Evil Within stream last week or whatever that was, I just caught myself every time there was like a jump scare, I would just start laughing hysterically.
Defense mechanism.
Just like I wasn't really scared so much as just like laughing. Yeah.
You were
Kyle.
scared.
I gotta ask, dude, any online games that you've played, have you been as toxic as you are in person to players?
Yeah, I'll be a horrible troll for sure. I remember like in StarCraft, I would always pretend to be 13 years old, even when I was far beyond it.
What?
Kyle.
I pretend to be way younger than I actually am to make people mad and not proud for beating me. It's a win-win. If you lose, you can't be proud because you beat a kid, and if you win, you can't be proud, and if they lose, they feel
How old
super
were
bad.
you?
So I guess actually I was probably 13 and pretending to be like 8, right? When StarCraft came out, I was like 13 to 15.
Okay, I thought you were saying you were like 18 and you were.
Yeah. No, I was probably older. Yeah, I was probably like 15 or 16, pretending to be way younger. Feels good.
Pretty good strat. I like it.
Yeah, and so it'd be like second level trolling where it's
Like
like
32 pretending to be 13.
yeah, where like you don't have that investment, you don't care about winning or losing, but you do care about making them feel bad, and so it's like that whole other level.
So malicious.
Yeah.
Your only intent is to hurt. You're not even there for the game. You just want to make people feel bad.
Yeah, I've said this before. Multiplayer Kyle is bad. He's bad, and that's one of the reasons I don't play multiplayer games.
Oh, we all know.
Yeah.
So it's 1:12 already, or I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit here. Our next question comes in from Tim. He says, "Hey, allies, this month I have no new version of my Re4 game because this is the Friday before the Q&A and I forgot my notes at work. So here's a more classical question. Last week, I had my PhD defense, and yes, this is the thesis, which includes the 4 words chosen by the Easy Alice podcast panel, and the drop caps of all 10 chapters spell out Easy Allies, which basically translates into I have a lot more spare time on my hands. In the past weeks, I have thought about starting to stream games since I have a lot of Kickstarter games I backed but never played. But I think the event of sharing the experience that you once believed in for the first time could be something worth watching. So I think that sharing the event of experiencing a game for the first time could be something worth watching. My question is, do you have any advice or lessons learned? Any ideas or suggestions are appreciated, from hardware tips to do's and don'ts, or maybe things that you enjoy when watching but not necessarily adhere to yourself. I know that successful streaming seems to be based on personality traits, but I hope there are some fundamentals worth sharing."
Hardware is easy. There's basically 3 things you got to get. If you want to stream consoles, you should get a little Elgato HD 60. If you want to stream older games, there's one just called Elgato HD, I think, which you can plug older consoles into. Get a Yeti microphone, whether that's a Snowball or a Blue Yeti. Those are the cheapest ones. If you're just starting, those are the 2 that I would recommend. And then a Logitech webcam, basically the cheapest and best for what that is. Those are like the 3 things that you need. And then OBS is free. That's the streaming software, and like that's what I would recommend straight out for hardware wise.
And then do a lot of tests. Like record a lot of local stuff.
Check your audio sync live.
Yeah.
Go live first.
Make sure that Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 works. And
Oh no.
Be sure to ask the chat how you sound.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, all good advice. Just make sure if you're doing it from a laptop, just make sure the laptop can handle running all that stuff at the same time. Especially if you want to stream. You said you backed some kickstarted games. I'm assuming some of those are PC games. So streaming from PC, I'm assuming those aren't very intensive games, but some of the more intensive games, it gets a little bit finicky depending on your settings when you're trying to stream and play them at the same time. So just be sure to, mess around with that to get, good settings with that.
Yeah, streaming takes far more CPU than you would guess. It's really kind of crazy.
I would definitely try and look up the Twitch affiliate requirements since they opened that up, because you can become an affiliate before you become a partner, so you can actually start getting some of the benefits of bringing in some kind of revenue if that's what you're looking for, but also opens up new features as well. So one step closer to getting those, those extra things you want when you become a partner. Yeah, I mean, Kyle said 3 hardware things, but again, just your rig, whether you use your PC, your laptop, or your Mac. If you can stream from Mac as well. So just be warned that Mac has some restrictions compared to stuff. Like for example, we said OBS. We also use XSplit. You can't use XSplit on Mac, so you're pretty much stuck with OBS on Mac if you want to do that. But also some other, like if you decide not to go with Elgato or Yeti, some other peripherals don't play as nice with Macs and stuff, or just take a little bit more, finagling to get them to run on there and be set up.
In terms of building an audience, it depends on how greasy you want to be. Because like the way to do it is to get on Twitter and do a lot of tweeting about, like, tweet to the developers when you're going to stream their games, in hopes that you might get a retweet. tweet other people and try to build your own like community, but also support system of like, I'll retweet you if you retweet me, stuff like that. That stuff's no fun, but it's like how you build an audience gradually from nothing.
Yeah, if you can, pick a game community that's relatively new or smaller, where you'll be easier to stand out if you have like a quality stream. I would also say that you definitely need to stick to some kind of routine schedule if you're hoping to build your audience as well. Let them know when you're going to be streaming each week. So especially if you're going to be a solo act, you really need to have that up. Like, you can't get away with the partial of it. So it's like when I feel like streaming, you gotta like buckle down and pick times and dates for that, and kind of keep them consistent each week if possible. That way people can tune in, and just being consistent will put you ahead of other people who might just stream like randomly or only like when a game first comes out. So if you like stick with like one of those newer games and you're seen as like someone who's just routinely doing that and supporting it, developers are probably more likely to notice you and be like, oh, this person, even after launch, they're still producing all these streams about our game. Let's reach out to them, and maybe, or maybe we'll retweet your stream like, oh, so-and-so is going live and stuff like that. So definitely try and do that if you can.
I think a lot of people just think to themselves, boy, I love streaming games, or, oh, hey, I'm pretty good at this game, let's do it. I don't think they realize how awkward it is at first to just have a conversation with people that aren't in the same room as you, and you're basically talking to yourself for hours on end. And so you have to have stuff to talk about. And I think one of the ways to make that easy for you, like if you want to be a variety streamer, don't start with something new. Don't start with something that you haven't experienced. Work your way up to that. Play something that you're really comfortable with and you have a lot to say about, or you know a lot about. Like, think of ways where you can make it interesting and entertaining, or there's like a perspective that you have or some knowledge that you have that maybe you think a lot of other people don't. Like, find those interesting conversation tidbits and yeah.
And I guess also with that, I would say, yeah, pick something that gives you room to talk and interact, because again, like I don't stream a lot of racing games, because if I'm streaming a racing game, I'm never looking at chat. I can't talk while I'm driving and all of that.
And don't do a bullet hell game.
Yeah,
Blood. That's a really good point.
And on that note, also make sure this goes with hardware. Make sure your display setup is arranged properly so that you can see chat and the game very easily. Just because,
or get like a tablet
Twitch,
or laptop on the side.
Just rearrange the windows and stuff to make it work out, because you might think, oh, I got my screen in front of me with my webcam, I got Twitch over here. Even if you have two monitors, then you realize your Twitch chat is like all the way on the far right, and you'll like never look at it, or it's very it constantly interrupts the flow, because you have to keep looking over like that and stuff, and it's not like right there where you can just take a quick gander at it. So that stuff all matters and helps.
Cool. Our next question comes in from Delcast. He says, good day, fellas. My last question didn't make it in time, but I think I made it in time now. Anyhow, I had a little idea of a what-if scenario for each one of you separately. So, a bigwig studio executive approaches you to tell you they are producing a TV series based on you. Not necessarily biographical, just you as an ideal character. But they want your input on 4 things. What genre would your TV series be? Who would direct it? Would you rather someone else play your role? And who? What song would play in the opening credits? Okay, so there's a lot to dig into here. I'm going to read this one more time. So they're making a show about you, not necessarily biographical, and you need to say these 4 things. The genre of the show about you, the director, would you play your role or would somebody else, and what would the song be in the opening credits?
For me, it's a reality show about it, and I'm in it. It's like Kyle driving a car in a desert and how far he can survive. And so it's called like sweating in the desert. But the weird thing is they plant hitchhikers to like for me to maybe pick up or maybe not pick up. And so like I slow down for the hitchhiker and see whether I want to pick that person up or not.
You'd never pick up anybody.
And most of the people I don't pick up, and I explain why. Then I look into the camera, explain why I didn't pick that person up. But sometimes they like have bottled water, and they're like, "Pick me up," and I'm still like, "No." The director I want like a Bravo reality show director on this. Like I want that kind of vibe. And the theme song to Kyle Sweating in the Desert is what I don't know, like what's like, oh, it's just I'm too hot damn, and then the show starts. So it's like Kyle sweating in the desert, I'm too hot damn. Hey everybody, on this episode I'm 3 miles into the desert. So like that's the idea, that's the concept.
Does that line just like
this?
keep appearing throughout the show? It's not just at the beginning.
You're right, it does.
commercial break.
Yeah.
Can we make this for Easy Update or something?
Like, oh boy, I'm almost out of gas. I'm too hot damn.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I want like a cop show where it's like NYPD Blue, and I want Kyle to play me, and I need someone to be Huber. So it'd be me and Huber as cops together going through the streets.
But I'm you and Huber is Huber?
No, we'll get someone else for Huber. Like Ben's Huber
Why?
and Kyle's me.
Gerard Depardieu is Huber.
Yeah. No, actually, I want Blood to be Huber.
Nice.
That's what I want.
I want that now.
Yeah. And the intro would just be the cops themes. We just take it. Just steal it.
And it's narrative or
Boys?
reality?
No, it's like scripted and everything like that. Yeah.
I want a public access television show.
Oh, yes.
It is just the soundtrack from Bloodborne. There are no words. It's just the soundtrack being played at super high volume. And I'm making food. But I don't explain my process. I don't tell anybody. It might be horrible.
Do you
That's
acknowledge the camera?
I don't
You
go out of way.
stare at it really intensely at some parts.
No,
The occasional nod to camera would be funny.
I wouldn't want it to be a self-aware show. I want to like try to play it as straight as possible. But there is one line I want to say at the very end. Like I'm making a dish. Like let's say I'm making a pizza or something, and it just looks miserable. Like no one would want to eat this. The last thing I do is I bring the dish up to the camera, and the music cuts, and I go, "That's it," and then it's the end of the episode.
That's it.
Good boy.
Damiani, what's your show?
All right. So my show is going to be it's going to be sci-fi. We're going in space. It's going to be Allies crew. We're going to be explorers, and I am not going to be the captain of the ship. I'm making Kyle Bossman the captain of the ship for maximum bad situations to happen. And every episode, we go to a new planet, and it is based on either a video game or a television series or movie. But we in the show, we don't act like we know what it is. Like to us, it's like brand new, but to the audience, it's like, oh yeah, duh, it's on that. And every away mission, Kyle never goes on it. He always sends me, and that's like the focal point, and it becomes like a comedy of errors where things just go wrong because he sends me and I don't know what to do and stuff because I'm just like, I'm supposed to be like the engineer or whatever. So I'm supposed to be back on the ship. Kyle's like, no, you should be the leader of the expedition. So go down there. You don't have any like training whatsoever. Blood would be the science officer, and he would like warn Kyle every time about regulations and stuff. And Kyle would be like, I don't care about regulations. You're going down there on the away mission. So it'd basically be Huber and me, and Brad, and probably Ben. all going down, and possibly Ian. Huber would run into everything, but never die. Every like episode would be like, you. This is the time. You know how Kenny dies in every episode of South Park? There's this moment where you think it's gonna be Huber who finally dies in this episode, but he doesn't die. He like pulls off some BS and totally survives, and you're just like, well, this is crap. I would. Ian would be the one who's like constantly pointing out how ridiculous we are being, and like we're just like, you're like, this action is gonna cause so much damage to this planet if you do this, and like Huber will be like, nope, and I'll be like, I'm just the engineer here. I don't know what I'm doing here. So it would just be. It's like, why the question would just be like, why are you guys even on this like voyage and stuff? It'd be this weird comedy of what the hell's going on and who hired these people to be in charge of a spaceship. And then when we get back at the end of the day, it'd just be like, there'd be a random cameo at the end of Brandon Jones walking out, and you never say what his rank is or what he does. He just comes out with a cup of coffee, says, that was damn good cup of Joe, and just walks away. And we all just act like it's normal and like, thanks, Brandon. And then Kyle has a sign off message for everyone. It's like, see you later for like next adventure. And somehow we survive every episode. No one ever dies.
But at the end of season 1, Jones doesn't appear.
Oh, you find out Jones
at the door.
Yeah.
Wait for him to come out, and he doesn't.
It's like, where's Jones?
And then he's the you find out that he was really like Q all along. He was just like watching us and making sure that we played by the rules. But as far as the entertainment,
He's the G-man.
I'm trying to think. Sophie needs a very important role as well. Like, I think
Medic.
Sophie would be like, no, the security chief, like Worf's character. Like whenever we're in battle, like Sophie's the one who like takes like command and stuff, and like totally understands what we're saying and stuff. And Sophie always saves our butt and stuff. So good stuff. But no, I think the plot twist should be, Kyle, that you say you're done one day and you just like take an escape pod and leave. And we don't know what to do. We're just like, what do we do without the captain?
What if like we just become like a way more efficient crew in every way possible? We're successful, but then Kyle comes back.
Everything goes way better, but we think that it's going way worse, and then we're like, "Oh, Kyle, thank God you're back," even though it was like, way better without him.
For some reason, I feel like Jones would be the only character that wasn't actually played by Brandon. All of us would just be
Patrick
us.
Stewart.
And then,
The idea that I'm toying with, I'd want Dawn and I to be, we're like interdimensional detectives who are immortal, and it's like a pseudo comic kind of thing where we're always just kind of like faced with like these bizarre Lovecraftian horrors, and then we just have to like deal with them. And like you guys would all show up as various like characters in our little community. We're like living in an apartment together in like Chicago, but then we have to like go out in like a Buick LeSabre and try to stop these Lovecraftian horrors from happening. And like no one knows that we're these ancient beings from like another dimension, but we just kind of are. And the theme song would be Red Virgin Soil by Agnes Obel. Yeah. That's mine.
well thought out. Blood, you got one?
I was trying to remember the name of this weird movie, but I can't. Yeah, so maybe we'll go. It'll be like an animated show, kind of like the old Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't have anything super elaborate, but yeah. And then the theme song would just be the Wayward Son by Kansas. So
Whoa.
going out on a bunch of
Yeah.
weird adventures.
That would be a fun show. Our next question comes in from Hudson. Hey Alice, has a game's aesthetic ever single-handedly made a game harder for you to enjoy? I picked up The Witcher 3 recently, and 10 hours in, I just can't get into it. A
Wow.
weird nitpick to be sure. And I know a lot of that is up to personal taste, but I figured I'd see if I could get your impressions.
Whoa.
Mhm.
Look, I get it. I get it because there's some games that look gross and like have bad,
Yeah.
gross art that are just like fart, and poop. And it's like, no, never. I'm never playing you.
Right.
I did not expect that to be followed up by Witcher 3. Whoa.
It does
Which is
have,
like
I kind of believe it though. Like Gwent too. It has like there's something about it that I could see that happening. I can't put my finger on it, but
I'm
with The
definitely not
Witcher-
into like the comic style that they have for some of the cutscenes, but the main game, I mean, I really love.
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of that kind of WoW-ish, almost generic kind of high fantasy, like a lot of games that you don't know of that well. Like when that's all I see, like it was kind of like I kind of have a hard time like getting invested in one of those and getting interested in one of those.
I got one. When I played Xenoblade for the first time, I thought that game was just hideous. I hated
Which
it.
one?
The first one, just
Xenoblade
Xenoblade.
Chronicles?
Yeah, it looked disgusting to me, and it wasn't like that all the way, but I just remember like hating the way it looked at the time when I played it, and I always hated at a point like in the Xbox 360, PS3 area, all the Unreal Engine games kind of looked the same to me.
Mhm.
Like the way it all looked, I always hated that. Like I hated the way Gears of War looked, like its art style and everything like that. They always had like that same kind of style to it. Never a fan.
Yeah, Gears of War is a good one. That Raiders of a Broken Planet game, the character designs look really
Oh.
gross to me.
Yeah,
The
the environments look great, but the
Yeah,
character
yeah.
designs are like all
character
frowny
designs
face
are
weird.
unsettling.
Yeah.
There was another one too. What was it? Basically anything, anything kind of like what Kyle said, like anything where like the game thinks it's really funny and clever and like, oh, look at our zany character designs, but they're like kind of gross.
Mhm.
That I'm generally right out.
Like Gearbox, most of their stuff.
I mean, I don't want to pick on Gearbox, but kinda.
They asked for it.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad.
Oof.
Evolve, I couldn't get into the aesthetic.
Hmm.
Yeah. The environments were cool. The characters, I was kind of like, eh.
Yeah,
I really-
go ahead.
Go ahead. I really like the character art in League of Legends, but I've never loved like the actual
Mm-mm.
in-game style of a lot of
Yeah.
League of Legends. Like I don't know. There's just something about it that like I've liked the game. I've spent a lot of time in the game, but the in-game style has just never done much for me.
Something along the lines of League of Legends, something that always bumps me out is inconsistency in art style and stuff. And League of Legends suffers from that just because it evolved over time and stuff. But like some of the like Christmas skins or like Slutty Nurse or something, like if I see that, I'm just like, all right, like you're not taking this seriously, so why should I? Like,
Yeah, to answer the question, I think, it was unexpected to pick on Witcher 3, but we've all said no to games because of their aesthetics. And if you're just not vibing with the game, absolutely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Witcher 3 is like game of the generation to many people, but also like it's not crazy if you quit because you didn't like how it looks. That's our brains. You can't control that. So I support it.
yeah.
Our next question comes in from Not Jack. He says, "What is your largest bias you try to overcome when reviewing or forming an opinion on different games?"
Cool question.
I think the thing for me is recognizing like what things, like we all have favorites, right? Like I just like turn-based battle systems and an anime aesthetic and all this stuff. And so when it comes to that sort of stuff, like things that are just for whatever reason my favorite things, when I'm reviewing that type of game, I have to take a step back and say like, is this actually good? Like, can I explain why it's good, or do I just like it? And I think that's a different thing. Like, not just trying to make sure that I'm not giving a free pass to something.
I find it's like you got to learn to forgive games for a lot of things because people like them so much. You got to learn to forgive bad faces and forgive glitchiness, and you got to like forgive bad writing. If you're totally critical of all those things, you're just going to end up liking 0 games. And so I try to learn to be like that, you know what I mean? But obviously I'm still hypercritical of a lot of games. I try, but it's not easy.
I disagree. I think you don't have to forgive any of those things. Like,
Yeah.
hold things to a standard until they get good enough,
Yeah.
you know? Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, look at like Mass Effect Andromeda or like a lot of games. It's just like, we don't have the technology. Like, Jones loves lip sync, and I'm like, I've never seen good lip sync in a single video game. I'd prefer them not to try until we can do it.
Kyle, I think the idea of forgiving some things is different for me, just depending about how much of it's in a game. Like, the lip sync in Bloodborne is like not really an issue for me at all because it's barely in the game. Most of the characters have helmets on it, but yeah, it's still a problem. It's just if it affects the outcome a lot more or not. Like, if you're staring at Mass Effect faces and Andromeda, and they're just hideous for like a ton of the game, I could see that's way more of an issue.
My thing is like, if choice versus limitation, you know? So like, it seems to me that they made the choice in Bloodborne, just don't have their mouths move, whatever. If that's a choice. But like, if you have lip sync, but it's not good, that's a limitation. That's a choice that you made that it was then limited by your capabilities, financial or technological or otherwise. And it's like, you can look at a choice and then judge it or respect it. You can look at a limitation and say, like, should you have made a different choice? Like, you know? Because like, I think making an artistic choice is always going to be better than, you know, like, I mean, Final Fantasy VII, like the graphics were like, whoa at the time, but now then it looked bad immediately after, you know? Whereas Symphony of the Night still looks good.
So like, let's recent example. Let's say Crash Bandicoot, playing through the trilogy. Almost all of the character designs are bad. The boss designs, the enemy designs are all bad. They're just like frankly bad. But you don't want to say the game's bad because of those things. People are loving the games right now. I have a lot of negative things to say about Crash Bandicoot, and it's falling upon waves of hype of people who are really loving the game right now. And so I feel a weird disconnect there for sure, critically.
But I mean, in that case, you could say like, the character designs are terrible, but this game is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then you can still love it. Like, I love plenty of things that have bad elements.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like what matters to you and to what degree, I guess.
Anybody else, Blood?
Yeah, no, I mean, the question itself is kind of hard for me because it's, you know, it's sort of like one of those, it feels like one of those natural checks that, you know, I'm constantly trying to overcome biases all the time, just because of how long I've been doing this. You know, it's like as soon as I got away from a Nintendo site, it's like, all right, time to start buying other consoles and buy a PC and get into all of this other things. And so I'm not just talking about Nintendo constantly, even though I, you know, still arguably do. But
I like it when like Supergiant, for example, Pyre came out recently and I'm loving it so far.
Cool.
And I like Bastion, and I didn't love Transistor, mostly because the narrative was weird to me. But what I really respect about Supergiant is that all their games, there's a level of quality there that's consistent, but the kind of games that they make is always pretty different. So I like it when a studio doesn't just kind of kick out the same thing over and over again. Like, I like it when a studio shakes things up and changes. and stuff like that, you know? And like, from, you know, like I'll take 2 examples, like From Software. I love their stuff, the Souls series, you know, but they're all pretty samey. And like after so many, I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see you try something else. Or like Naughty Dog, you know, where it's like, at this point I can basically say like that the Naughty Dog, like I can say this company of games generally isn't the style that I'm into, but I still give them all a try. But it's like, I would love it if their next game was just like totally different.
No guns.
You know? Right. Like, or whatever it is, you know, like I like it when that happens. And like, so for me, I think that, you know, I do try to not say like, oh, okay, this is a X company game, so it's going to be like this, you know, still try to come in and be like, okay, how is this game just as this game?
Our next question comes in from Rob. He says, hey there, guys. Inspired by Ben mentioning singer Courtney Barnett on Frame Trap, whose music I fell in love with after that, I wanted to get a few recommendations for any art, media, entertainment you guys like that might not fit in with tastes you are known for.
Whoa.
I think I like shooters, both third and first person, more than people realize. Like I've finished every single Gears of War game. And like every Halo and all this stuff, and I really like all that. So maybe shooters.
I'm gonna say check out some of the classics like Beethoven and Bach and Mozart. All that stuff's really great.
Edvard Grieg is good.
There's a rare one-off, probably hard to find now, trip hop record called Paradigm Shift that I haven't actually listened to for a long time, but I really like.
Trip hop from Bloodworth.
Is that the band?
I mean, the record is just called Paradigm Shift. I don't know that you would even necessarily qualify it as a band. Yeah,
it's like various artists or whatever.
No, it's just like a project, you know.
Oh.
And it was like it lived and died with that one record, you know.
Whoa.
Cool.
I want to find this. I just Googled Paradigm Shift Trip Hop, and I'm not coming up with it, I don't think.
Probably not. The record company's not even around anymore, so.
Kyle, anything that would surprise people?
I don't think so. I'm like looking through like my recently played music. Nobody's going to be surprised by any of this. I'm not an interesting person. I don't like interesting things.
Oh yeah, it's like apparently Korn put out an album called Paradigm Shift 2, so that's gonna throw it off.
Korn fan.
If Bloodworth was a fan of Korn, I would be surprised.
I would be
Yes.
very surprised.
I'd be like, okay. What's my recent activity? Yeah.
Okay.
This is...
All right. Actually, I got one. When I was just home, I saw a new show, not a new show, but new to me, called Forged in Flame. And it's a competitive reality show where people are making weapons. And it's kind of like Iron Chef. It's like drop you in and they're like, okay, make this. Make a hand axe. And they're like, oh. And then like they have to like make it like a weapon. And then they use it at the end of the episode to like cut large dead pigs.
Are these people with weapons experience, or they're just like us?
Oh yeah. They're all like weapon
okay.
masters. And so like their job is to make weapons.
That's
pretty
pretty
cool.
crazy.
Yeah, there we go. So just a dumb reality show for you, everybody.
Kyle, you made me think of a dumb reality show that I wouldn't watch otherwise, but like my girlfriend loves So You Think You Can Dance, and it's this dancing competition. And I think it's like an easy thing to dismiss, but because it's on so often, I just watch it, and I don't know jack shit about dance, but like the things these people are doing, the commitment that they put in, like the routines that they come up with, pretty cool. Made me respect something that I knew nothing about. Damiani, what would surprise people?
I don't know. Music wise, like I don't know what people's expectations of me are outside of gaming though. That's the thing. Music wise, I like to listen to about anything that's not country music. So I mean that's extremely wide.
No.
Damiani,
that's my pet peeve, dude.
I
Don't
knew
you
this
do
was
that.
coming.
That's my pet peeve, man.
What's your
country
pet peeve,
music?
Kyle?
Saying no country music?
Everything but country is my pet peeve.
No, I absolutely hated every type of country music you can imagine of growing up in Texas.
No,
Having to
dude.
listen to it when practicing for sports and they blast
Dude,
shit
Kyle,
like that. I hated it.
Hold on a second. You grew
Like,
up on
I
the
actually-
East Coast, right?
Yeah, I grew up in a place where like it was like one of the most
Yeah.
popular types of music, and
Yep.
it was annoying as shit.
There's
Yep.
country. No, Damiani, I'm gonna find country you can enjoy.
No, but Kyle, I totally get where Damiani is coming from.
If we're gonna start blending genres, like we can go down this rabbit hole with every type of media. Like
No. I can
something
find
that's like
pure country that you're gonna like.
no.
Yes.
Kyle, like the
Not
way
really.
that in certain places, the way that country music was like I grew up in the same situation. The way that it was shoved down your throat, it's just like you can't. It was traumatizing. Like you couldn't.
I mean, for more
you don't
specific
understand.
of liking, I remember there was like a time when like I was trying to like make Marco Rosado, Patrick Morales, and
Miguel?
Miguel Lopez. Sorry, I was choking. When I drive them to lunch back at Game Trailers, I would play video game rap music where like rappers would like use samples from video
Mega
game
Ran?
tracks. Well, Mega Ran was like the start, but then they all laughed at that because they thought I tried to make them listen to Black Materia, and they were like, "No, these lyrics are not good." Like I was like, "Yo, this shit's dope" and stuff. But then like for the next 3 months, Miguel would send me links to all this like underground shit, like these like rappers who'd use video game samples, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is so good!" But like couldn't get everyone else on board with that. I was like, "Yo, this is some cool stuff." Like I like seeing sometimes really weird extremes taken together and thrown together that would be unexpected, and seeing how the end result. I mean, sometimes it's hideous. Sometimes there's some really bad mashups out there that are just like people are like, "This is good." I'm like, "This sounds like trash." Then there are like some really good ones, even like serious ones, like it's this fan show together, like the Kirby theme with Snoop Dogg. I was like, "Holy shit, this goes together." Whoever did this, you are so awesome. Like you're my hero. Like please give me more of this type of stuff. I mean, I didn't want to say like video game remixes because I feel like that's anyone listening to this is probably already knows about most of that stuff, like OC remix and stuff like that. And there's like for the longest time, I would just like have their page open and just be anxiously awaiting like the next remix. Like, all right, what's the next one going to be? Oh man, I hope it's good. And when it sounded like really low tier shit, I'd be like, no, this is not good. And then another one come out, I'd be like amazing, like yeah, good stuff. But I mean, I don't think that's anything special or extraordinary.
Low tier is really funny to me. Sorry, dude. That's a low tier remix.
Well, and it's like it sounds like they made it in a MIDI synthesizer, and it's just like sounds like, and it's not intentionally trying to sound like 8-bit retro or chiptune or something. It's just they didn't try. It's like, oh, that doesn't. And you can see over time, like I don't know how if they still put their years in archive format anymore. But you used to be able to go to like some of the older year ones, the remixes I used to like from the early years of OC Remix, and compare them to newer stuff, and just like the sound quality and anything they were using to like author that stuff just made it sound so much better. Like what I thought was like the best like in year one versus like towards the end, like more recent, like it was night and day, the quality difference. That was pretty cool to see.
All right, so we have 9 minutes left in the Q&A. We're gonna
5 more questions. Let's do it.
5 more questions. I like that. No, let's do 5 more.
You really want to do 5?
Yeah, I want to do 5.
Okay.
I'm willing to stay a little bit later so we can we can get through these. I always feel so bad. There are many questions we leave unanswered. All right. Next question comes in from Matthias. He says, "Hey, Elias, I really liked the Castle series, and we want to try to start my own. Try my own start to a series. Props to the original creator of the Castle series." Oh, I see. The Castle series of questions. I was confused in what he was asking there.
Oh.
So this is the scenario that he's putting us in. The 9 find themselves doing normal things they do on Saturday when suddenly a portal opens up under each of them. Everything goes black, and when they come to, they are all together in a large room with wood flooring and stone walls, without any decoration. You see a stunned old lady with glasses and an old robe that is very tattered. You find out that you've been accidentally summoned into another world, and that the old lady was just messing about and has no idea how to get you back. She lives alone in a large forest with a small town on the edge that she visits for supplies. What kind of world have you been summoned into? What will each of you try to do in this world, and what have you taken with you to this world?
All right, we're taking the old lady hostage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We take the old lady hostage and show up in the town and see what kind of information we can get.
Sure.
I've got the notebook.
If it's a normal Saturday, step 1, find clothes.
Well, yeah, I was about to say find shoes because I'm probably don't have shoes with me.
So we go into town with our old lady hostage and we say, "Give us your shoes, give us your clothes," and then we'll start talking.
So is this a fantasy world? Is that what we're dealing with?
No, you get to choose. What kind of world have you been summoned into?
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk with a large forest and an old lady in a wooden house.
Yeah. They're all mechano trees.
Okay.
I would say that like this would be my chance to be in an RPG. And because I was summoned into this world, I could convince this old lady of like any story. I would just say, "I'm a wizard, take me to the wizarding school." And then I would just become a wizard. That's what I would do.
Nice.
I'm sorry, is that before or after we take her hostage?
After.
Okay.
So you're saying,
I think Ben doesn't get shoes or clothes until after he becomes a wizard.
Got it. Okay.
Well,
The chronology
that's
worked
the
out.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with being. You just got to play it off. I think if you say you're a wizard, if you're naked, you just got to deal with it. You just got to say, this kind of thing happens all the time with these crazy teleportation spells.
Yeah. But the old lady inadvertently is the one, she inadvertently brought us to this reality.
Yeah.
So just so I understand, all 9 of us are typically naked on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Got it.
Typically,
All right.
yeah.
Okay.
Generally, yeah. It depends on the time of day.
Do we have Q&A?
Yeah.
It just depends.
Have I gotten up to eat something?
Wait, the old lady didn't summon us, though. She's just
I thought
there.
she was
I think
messing around.
It's implied she accidentally summoned us.
She accidentally summoned us.
Yeah.
You find out that you've been accidentally summoned into another world, and that the old lady was just messing about and has no idea how to get you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the old lady just happened to be in the room.
No, that's how
it's her
we hold her
fault.
hostage. She's not innocent.
Okay. This
Kyle has
changes
immediately
everything.
made us all evil, so we kind of have to roll with that.
We could start our own gang, Kyle.
Yeah.
Bad guys. I like
So
it.
we take over the town, and then we take over the region, and then we go national, baby. We become a megacorp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since it's a fantasy world, are there dragons?
It's cyberpunk.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
cyberpunk
Yeah.
world.
But
We
they're
have
Dragons.
multiple
Dragons.
But there are
Cyberpunk
dragons.
fantasy.
Wait,
Yeah.
they're essentially like
are there robot dragons?
Yeah.
they have robot wings for sure.
Okay.
They were created by one of the evil megacorps.
But Ben, because you decided to go off and be a wizard, we tried to control the media to convince them that wizards are bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say
But
that
what you don't understand, Kyle, is that that's what I want. I want to be a bad wizard.
You were planning
Yeah.
3 steps ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we fight? Do I fight you as a bad wizard?
Maybe next month. We'll let the question take us from there.
Yeah.
All right.
we are diametrically opposed though, but we're all evil.
So you're trying to make people believe that I'm a bad wizard while you are doing nefarious things yourself?
Correct.
Yeah, we're an evil megacorp.
We're deflecting onto the wizards.
We have techno magic. and we're vilifying the wizards. Sort of like how Scientology vilifies psychology so that no one will realize that they're using psychology to brainwash people. We do that, but against wizards. So we're using magic to convince everyone that wizards are bad.
But I convince one of you to join my side.
So you can have Don or Jones or Huber.
Huber would go. Huber would go.
I think Huber would.
Don wants to make that cash. Don wants to make cash.
You think Don would prioritize cash over?
I think Don would be a free agent. I think he's like
right. He's our third party.
Yeah,
so he's the one manipulating you guys.
Probably.
Maybe.
Like siphoning funds.
His machinations are far beyond the understanding of any of us.
Just in general, not even in the story.
Even in reality. What's up, Bender?
Okay. Our next question. That got weird. Allies, what are your gaming fears going forward? Not just, this game might not be as good as we hope, but bigger questions. Does the console half-generation gap give you any concerns about the nature of game development going forward? Or is it just a minor annoyance or boon in a marketing sense? Are there any games or developers you think are just waiting to be canceled or shut down that you think will end up really missing? Are there any big trends or missed opportunities that have you down in any aspect of the industry? During E3, it's easy to get hyped, but so much of what we see will never be as good as it was for that one magical week. What brings you back down to earth?
Everything will end up being mobile phone games with touchscreen controls only, and I will never ever be able to use a normal controller again. That is when I peace out from Earth and go into space and say I'm finding another civilization.
Yeah, you know what? I think things are trending in a positive direction. I think that there's reason to be concerned about this and that, but fearful, no. I don't have a lot of gaming fears. I don't know. I think that this generation's been cool. You've seen a lot of responding, a lot of publishers and console manufacturers listening to their audiences and making adjustments based off that. And so, like, I'm kind of generally encouraged by what I see from the gaming industry. And we're still seeing games pushed out early, but we're seeing games that were delayed rewarded for being great games. And so, I don't know. I don't have a good answer to this. I'm feeling good.
On a serious note, with what you said, Cal, I'm worried if everything goes to an all-digital future, there will be times when certain games will no longer be available to ever play again.
Sure.
Whether publishers decided, nope, no longer listed, you can't have it anymore. It's removed from your account. You can't play it. And because there was never a physical copy, or for whatever reason, people can't find a way to play it again. And I'm not just talking about service-based games, but like when stuff gets delisted and stuff now, newer stuff, there's usually more of an outcry to that versus something that was more of like a virtual console game. It's like, there's still, it might cost money, but there's still a way to go back and play it. The newer games get, the more there's a possibility that game could be gone permanently. Right. And
like think of like Rocket League. What if Rocket League is ever delisted? You know what I mean? That's an extreme, but that's a huge game that only exists digitally.
Yeah, as games get patched more and more and stuff, that becomes like the mentality of publishers to
Rocket League might have a box now, doesn't it?
I thought it had, maybe. I'm not sure if it does have a physical version.
I'm on it.
Check it out, Cal. But also with patches and stuff, that like versions of games, like I'm not talking about the fix, not just fixing. Okay, cool. But like update the game, how the game plays and stuff, like just quality of life changes, balance changes. That version of game transforms so much over time. You had to kind of been there to experience it all. That there's no way to go back and replay that anymore. It's just either play like what the current version is, and you never get to know about like what people are talking about. But basically, yeah, everything going all digital just makes those things one step closer to being a reality. That it'll be harder for the consumer, us, to have more control over the experience versus it being more at the whim of the publisher and their say.
Damiani, that's good stuff, dude. I'll miss secondhand markets big time. I love Game Dude.
Mm-hmm.
I even like GameStop. I'll be legit. Like, I like going to the section of bins in GameStop and pulling out weird games that I haven't seen before. Like, I love that, and I'll miss that big time.
Also, as time goes on, retro consoles. I mean, we have emulation, we have new stuff like Raspberry Pi and stuff that can like get as close to it as possible. But as time goes on, like even people have kept their systems sealed in boxes. Like time's eventually going to get to all that stuff. Eventually, there'll be a point where you can no longer play a physical copy of an NES game anywhere.
Yeah,
like we might be long dead by then, but
CDs
there
are
will
dying.
Be a point where, there will be a point where it's like you can't play an original NES anymore. Like they are all defunct. Like, yeah, that stuff bugs me too.
Yeah, last night at like 10 p.m. we were trying to think of something to do, and I came up with the idea that we should go on VHS quest, where we attempt to find a VCR, find a VHS, and then watch it, hook it up and watch it. And we all realized like it would literally be basically impossible, especially at that time of night. So it's like already happened. Like
10 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, CDs are dead. Like I don't own a computer with a CD drive.
Same.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I still have my floppy disks, even though I don't have a thing to read them on.
Wow. That's intense.
It's a tough question because I think Damiani addressed my biggest concern. And you mentioned in the question that like E3 is magical, but I would just say this entire year is magical. And I think at a time where there is so much goodness, like if you asked me this question in 2014, I would have a list of things, but none of those biggest fears came true. And so I don't know. I like right now I'm kind of okay with just appreciating how good things are. And I feel very fortunate. Like it's still completely crazy to me that we got a sequel to Nier and it's as good as it is. I'm stoked that we're getting Dragon Quest XI. And a lot of that is just like my own personal interest, but I'm having a really good time. I love the Switch. I think the Switch is a great console. I mean, there are things that I'm worried about with it. I think that app is atrocious, but like by and large, it's good. Nothing that is like putting me in a state of fear, I guess. How about you, Brad?
I was more so with Damiani on the physical front of being like,
I feel that
kind of
way too.
being lost. That's the most important to me.
Yeah.
Next Q.
Next Q. Okay. I feel like that's a question where after we end the Q&A, I'm going to think of something that's going to drive me crazy.
Tweet it.
Our next question comes in from Alex. He says, firstly, love and respect to all of you. Secondly, as someone who found out about Game Trailers very late in its life, I took a little bit of risk gambling on your new Patreon page from day one. I'd really only seen and gravitated to Huber Hype and the Final Bossman shows up to that point, but I've never regretted my decision to jump on board. You guys are all the best, and I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know all of you through the many hours of content that I've voraciously consumed and is available on the internet. Your overall positive attitude and demeanor in games and other forms of geekdom have really lifted my spirits and offered a different approach to the often sarcastic and cynical viewpoint offered by most other outlets. Brandon, Kyle, Huber, Brad, Damiani, Ben, Bloodworth, Ian, and of course Don, thank you so much. Lastly, when you get your easily A office and everyone gets their own office space, what's the first decoration / personal item that goes by each of your desks?
When we get the office, I don't think we're all getting our own office space. So
No.
this is like 10 years from now when we all get our own office spaces.
Studio.
Yeah. I have, this is cheesy in real life, a picture of me and my parents that I like cherish. I would just put that up.
Sure.
Like I always thought it was the weirdest thing. I was the only one with a photograph of my family on my desk. And I thought like growing up, that's what everyone does is when you get a job, you put a photo of your family on your desk. And then I was like, everybody just has cool video game things.
This might be weird, but I've got a photo of Kyle and his parents that I really cherish,
Mhm.
and I would put that on my desk. Also,
I would have to sit near Damiani because we'd have to put the goddess in between us
Oh my
both
gosh.
at our desks.
like blocking your view of each other.
No, just like me and Damiani are just next to each other, and the goddess is just in the middle of both of us, like
Ian, you got real quiet.
raining down her radiance upon us.
Who, me?
Yeah, that Ian.
I would check.
I'd probably
I mean,
put this.
That's
guy
how it
up.
used to be with Patrick Morales, right, Damiani? You used to be
Fixed?
like right across from him. Yep, fixed.
Yeah, Lightning was in the back of that row against that wall of cubicles.
Yeah.
It was the guardian back there. the kept an ever watchful eye over the entire office.
There's a famous photo of Hideki Kamiya where he's really young and he's wearing this leather jacket and like his hands on his chest like this, and he's standing next to a relative. And it's the coolest thing ever. That's what I want.
Okay.
That's the vibe I want in the office. Is
Cool.
that picture?
It's an inspirational thing. It's like I want to be that. I get that. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I want. Is that picture?
Kyle, I'm trying to remember at my desk, I had, I think, the Amano art book,
Yeah.
and you just put Knack's head over like the character's face on my art book, dude. Do something like that again.
All right.
I found
Yeah.
that picture.
Ah,
It's pretty
Oh yeah.
cool.
Ben, you're right. That is cool.
Good.
yeah, I mean, I don't have anything amazing. I've got plenty of desk stuff that is now trying to be shoved into my room, if not in a box. So, yeah, probably that big Metroid from a couple weeks ago.
The baby Metroid.
Yeah,
The fully grown adult baby Metroid.
it's called a Metroid. That's what it is. It's a Metroid.
Serious answer, I'd do an office phone charger. I like
That's
to
a
have
good
a
one.
phone charger.
Nice.
Next cue.
Next cue.
Number 3.
That was number 3.
That was number 3. Yeah, we're on
That's number
4.
4.
4 of 5.
Number
4.
Rebecca.
I was counting down.
Next question comes in from Rebecca.
So this would be number.
Hey allies, recent sales on PSN have helped me find smaller games that I usually wouldn't have purchased, which have given me a tremendous amount of joy. What was the last smaller digital title that you bought on a whim that you ended up loving? I'd be really interested in your recommendations.
Kingdoms and Castles, actually. I bought it just the other day, and I am enjoying it so far. It's on computer.
Go ahead.
Potential sneak peek of a future frame trap. I'm not far enough into it, but Cosmic Star Heroine I just downloaded.
Yeah, Cosmic Star
Yeah.
Heroine is awesome.
I've
Pretty
heard
cool.
G things about it.
Yeah, and it's actually like a really cool RPG, which I didn't expect.
Downloaded.
didn't-
Go ahead.
Sorry, you didn't expect to be a really cool RPG, or you didn't expect to be really cool?
I didn't expect it to have cool RPG mechanics. When you see like a throwback game like that, you think like the battle system is going to be like pretty regular, but it actually has some very interesting ideas in its battle system.
Yeah, the battle system is like my favorite part of that game. I recently downloaded Fate Grand Order on the phone, and I didn't know anything about the Fate series. Didn't do the visual novel, haven't watched any of the anime, and it got me I love the game on its own, and it got me really interested in the series. And that was just something that I just did on a whim. It was fun. So also
real-
cool battle system.
Real quick, opposite of this, I would say avoid Latent Mystery Journey on the phone.
Oh yeah.
Avoid it.
Not good.
You know, like your selfie do.
Dude, it's just so hot in here. I had to go selfie.
Yeah.
Ian, I played the first
Figured it out.
chapter of that game,
Yeah.
spent, I don't know, $15, $16 on it. I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah. Try having played it, and then when the game actually came out, it deleted your save.
Ooh.
So then you played it again, just to see if when the game came out they actually fixed the crappiness, and they did not. There are parts of that game where like there are logic puzzles, but the way they're worded is so specious that there are multiple viable answers to a question, but they'll only accept one. And I'm just like, this game is trash. I'm not playing it anymore.
That's the SATs.
Yeah. It's a bad game. Sad to say. My first foray into Latent series, but apparently the rest are really good.
Blood, smaller titles?
It's weird because I was just on Framecraft, so I already talked about but Jotun, definitely recommend Jotun.
What about a game you got on a sale though, Blood? Where like you weren't gonna get that game otherwise, but you saw a sale price on it, and you're like, okay.
That's been so long since I've had a sale affect me, so I don't know.
I'm unaffected by
sales. Yeah, I'm unaffected by sales. I get it. Okay, all right.
Pile of games sitting around, some of which like I still have Metal Gear Solid 5 in shrink wrap.
Whoa.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
So yeah, it's very very rare that a sale nowadays. Like when I like first got back into PC gaming and like the Steam sales was like, whoa, this is amazing! All these games I wanted to play, and yeah, most of those haven't played yet either. They're still sitting on my PC.
There's a lot of games.
But I mean, Jotun is the same kind of thing where it's like, oh, okay, they have a new game coming out. Let me go play the last game that they made because I like the look of it, and it's super good.
Is that Jouten or whatever?
Joutun, yeah. So top down, kind of level by level and boss fights, but like very cool hand-drawn art. And
I was just making sure because I've heard I want to be clear because I've heard the title of that game pronounced in like 9 different ways.
Sure, I'm probably wrong.
I have no. I've heard Jotun, I've heard Jotun, I've heard Joten. I have no idea.
Brad?
I haven't bought a game on a whim, just out of nowhere. I feel like that I haven't known before. Like I bought Final Fantasy 9 recently on Steam because it's on sale. I haven't played it yet, but I have so many games I have to beat still. I've tried to stop buying stuff unless I'm going to actually play it now because I got Horizon just sitting there.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to pump the brakes on that a little until I get through games.
My rule is unless I'm going to play it right then, I don't buy it.
That's a good rule, I guess. That's a good rule.
Oh, I guess Final Fantasy 12 I bought on a whim. I'm not going to play that for a while.
So at like a sale or something? Well, I got
Just something you bought on a whim.
I got this notification from Wario64 about a price error on this game called Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I got it for $6.
Whoa!
Otherwise, I wouldn't have probably bought this game.
Did you like it?
And I played it.
How do you like the character design?
I like the visuals in it. I think it looked really good, actually. Looked a lot better than the original PlayStation version, obviously. I got all the way to that infamous bridge stage, and I was like, okay, this is there's some cheese going on here, but for the rest of the game, I was like, why is everyone whining about this game being so hard? There was clearly
no, dude. No, it's not fair.
It's on stream. It's on stream. There's clearly one spot where I fall through a solid object, and I was like, okay, there's some BS in this game.
Wait a minute.
This game is bull.
No, Damiani.
Crash 1?
No, I got on the bridge stage, and I was trying to cheese it, and I just didn't care about like my 30 lives. And I got a game over trying to cheese it, and I was like, let's just do it legit. And then it's on the stream archive, it's still there. I almost like one-shot the level doing it normally, and then I screwed up at the end. I was like, I'm done with this. Like, if this is the hardest level, then I'll come back and play it later. It's
cool. Not the hardest level.
Oh, there's harder ones.
It's the most like bad level design. It's the best example of bad level design in Crash
Okay,
Bandicoot.
yeah. It was just like it was really hard to judge stuff, and I was like, "This is crap." Like, how are you supposed to really know how far you're supposed to jump here? I was like,
yeah.
There weren't really like any shadows or anything to help you. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wing it. Like I don't go by like what I feel is the right distance to jump on each of these jumps. But that was Crash Bandicoot. Also, the force camera, reverse camera on the boulder part was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Oh, I actually really like those.
I was like, well, I can't see where I'm going. This is just hit the jump button here and there and hope you make it. But apparently, like you don't have to like freak out if you like are calm and just like move it at okay pace. And you can auto scroll it far enough so that you can see where you're supposed to jump and have plenty of time. Like they're trying to trick you into this like nonstop holding down so you screw up. So
not every level
like
is the camera in front of where you're going like that.
Ian, your hair is throwing me off, man.
It's so hot in here, dude. I'm dying.
Kyle, the level inside with the snakes and the spears, the first one of those, and there's like a spider enemy, where it's like inside like a pyramid type level, and it's kind of almost like Egyptian themed.
And Crash 3?
Crash 1.
Oh.
It's the first like indoor dark, like you can go along these block platforms. It's really annoying. That was the most annoying to judge distance for a jump in that part. There are parts where there's like foreground stuff blocking your.
I'm just positive there's no human who can play through Crash Bandicoot 1 and say, why did people say this is hard?
I mean, it's there's unfair stuff in there, but the game is basically patience the game. Like if you're trying to like go Zerg it and stuff, I can see how you just like, I hate life. Like this is unfair. This is unfair. This is not easy. I'm out of here. Like you just
hard?
You just walk ahead. I don't know. You walk ahead and you see what you're going to have to deal with. You're going to fail, see how you failed it, and then figure out how to do it. Like it's very easy. Like I think the patterns and stuff in there are pretty simple. Like it doesn't throw anything at you too ridiculous from what I saw. It's just like, it's like why a lot of people say Contra is the hardest game. I think Contra is one of the easiest games ever made, and people like.
You think it's one of the easiest games ever made out of all games?
As a kid, it was difficult. As soon as you know how to play it and you learn it, like if we're talking about like first experiences, yeah, there's a lot of games that are hard, and Contra's under there. Once you know what to do in Contra, that game is a joke. It's one of the easiest games once you know what to do. It is super easy game.
What do you do? Yeah, back that up.
I'll do it. I also do a stream, Kyle, where I will start with minimum lives and end up with lives.
No code, no Konami code. You got to beat Contra. One of the easiest games of all time.
Like I used to play that game, and I would get mad if I died once, and I'd be like, "That's it. I'm restarting from the beginning. Like this is crap."
What must it be like to be Damiani?
I mean, any game you can make easy with practice. I don't think that's a good.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying, Ben. But Kyle's taking it out of context, I think, and making it.
You said it's one of the easiest games.
Yeah, you see. I mean,
to me, right now, to me, Contra, original Contra, is one of the easiest games to beat.
So what you're saying is, having memorized every pixel and practiced for years, Contra is now one of the easiest games ever made.
Yes,
for you.
Ian. Yes.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
That is absurd.
Number 4.
Number 4. This is number 5. Your count makes no sense.
Our final question of the day comes in from Mike Hook. I'm happy to see that Microsoft and Sony seem to be done with the greatest hits and platinum hits labels on physical games. I have the orange box with the platinum hits label garbaging it up, and the worst offender, Final Fantasy IX, with a green greatest hits label smothering the case. I hate these labels. They look awful. What are your feelings on them?
Yeah, I always avoided buying those because I didn't like the way they looked.
The PlayStation 3 greatest hits are bad too.
The red one?
Red one?
The red one, yeah. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I really like the PlayStation 2 greatest hits, like the nice curved on the front, dark red greatest hits. I thought those looked good.
Wasn't there one that ended up being like a box within a box within a box? I'm trying to remember what that was.
Castlevania?
Yeah, maybe. That's it. Donosoro on DS. Yeah, that's a treasure.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wait, like a picture of the whole box as the box art.
Yeah.
So I think Nintendo's actually pretty good at this with the Nintendo Selects. I like those.
And I think the GameCube ones looked good too. with the yellow.
But from like a business perspective, I kind of like it. I liked that they added sales. They this game sold over 1 million or whatever their threshold was, but then a more casual audience could walk in and know that's a pretty good game, and then they would buy it. You know what I mean? So like if people did buy the Final Fantasy IX because it had a green border on it, absolutely cool. That might be why you have it.
It was always just funny because, like, for me, there are always games I'd heard of, and if I didn't already have them, buying the Game of the Year edition is like, yeah, okay, I'm going to save $30, $40, but I'm buying a compromised package. Like, I'm buying the, like, econo version of this game, you know what I mean? So, like, it always felt kind of weird.
I just posted a picture of that Castlevania box in Slack if anyone doesn't remember it.
Oh, Ian's got it.
Here you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is very, very bizarre.
good.
That's so weird. It's just a picture of the other box. That's so weird. What?
Someone approved that. Someone said, let's print it.
Let's do that. I've got a bad idea. Let's do this.
How do we feel about one more question?
Okay,
We'll do one more.
let's do it. Bonus number 4.
Yeah, so our number 4 question of the day comes in from Angelo. He says, hey, allies, which of the allies would be your Commander Shepard's choice for romance?
What?
Oh, so
This is
I
what
have
you
to, but it's my Commander Shepard.
It's just the next question, Blood. It's just the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
question.
So my Shepard from Mass Effect, who would she choose to be her romance? Right? Is that the idea?
Yes, this should be based on your Commander Shepard, not yourself.
Got it.
Indicate your choice with a phrase in the style of, my Commander Shepard is a loose cannon, but also loving. My Commander Shepard is a very serious, but expresses freely through photography. The other allies have to guess based on your phrase, what was your choice?
Oh.
Wait, I'm trying to understand this. So
It's the meme, Ben. We did this during Gundam where we describe our Shepards, and so we annoyingly describe an attribute about our Shepard, and from that we're left to imply which of the allies we're choosing to romance.
okay, I get it.
Wait.
So my Commander Shepard is tough, no nonsense, and she doesn't want to have a mushy-gushy relationship. And so that implies my Commander Shepard is going to romance Damiani.
I knew it was Damiani.
Yeah. So now anybody else, let's go.
My Shepard is hot-tempered, but with a soft side.
Damiani.
No.
Okay, so we have 2
Is
for
afraid to
Damiani.
get their hands dirty.
We have 2 for Damiani.
2 for Damiani. Blood, go. Describe your Shepard.
This is multi-layered weirdness.
Any adjective.
Tall.
So
Hesitant.
Hesitant.
Hesitant. Okay. Blood Shepard is romancing.
wait, why is it specifically on me now? Did everybody else already go?
No, he just picked on you.
Yeah.
We'll come back to him. He's
Okay, you better be
drowning.
ready. Blood.
He's drowning.
We're going to do the 2 other people. When we come back to you, you have a great description of your Shepard. Ben, are you ready to go? Are you locked and loaded?
My Commander Shepard doesn't take life too seriously, but is always there when you need him the most.
So your Shepard is romancing Damiani?
That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
I tried to make it difficult, but out immediately.
Damiani, tell us about your Shepard.
My Shepard is cool under pressure. And has no problem being in the spotlight.
You can't romance yourself.
Ian, describe your not your Damiani.
My Damiani loves Final Fantasy 14. Is calm, cool, collected, and is dating Damiani. My Commander Shepard is neutral, collected, and a lesbian. So there that is.
Oh, that complicates things.
So I guess
I mean, if we think about it logically,
Mhm.
and we cut out all of the options it can't be,
we're left with Damiani.
we're left with Damiani again. Yeah.
Okay. It's just the way the math works out.
All right, Blood.
can you pick somebody else, please?
Yeah,
Commander,
please pick to romance anyone but Damiani.
Yeah.
well, my Commander Shepard enjoys the finer things in life,
God damn it, Blood.
and doesn't need to seek someone else's approval.
It's Damiani again,
Yeah,
what?
all right.
Well, I
Damiani.
guess Damiani is 9 for 9.
I think the worst part was when he romanced himself, though.
Yeah,
that was just
that was a little
Throw us a bone,
a little
dude.
arrogant, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
Look how sad Damiani's chair looks. Wait, Damiani, lean forward again.
Oh, that is a sad chair.
It's like a
That's
sad
it.
stormtrooper.
don't sit on me.
It's like streaming tears out of its eyes. Oh,
Patron.
how
Oh,
many
Patron.
hours do you want to play?
All right. We're
That's
getting
it.
we're flying too close to the sun. Oh, did
We're
Yeah.
spent.
The wings
We're
have
spent.
the wings have melted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That's gonna do it for our July Q&A. Again, if you want to ask a question and have a chance of us answering it or memeing it, sorry to Angelo if that is not what you wanted, but you can go to patreon.com/easyallies. Again, $20 and up patrons. What I do want to say, I will post this on Patreon as well. I'm going to have the submission up for the August Q&A on August 1st. So normally I do it like the 5th or something like that. I'm going to do it on August 4th. That is a Tuesday. I'm going to have
Wait.
it up
First,
August
First.
1st.
you said
August
fourth
1st.
the second time. Yeah.
Oh, I do that sometimes. Good call. August 1st, I'm going to have the post up at noon PST. So again, if you want to submit a question for August and you want your earliest chance of getting in and being at the top, I'm going to submit it August 1st. That's a Tuesday at noon Pacific time is when it'll be up. Thank you, everybody, for being on the Q&A. I hope those watching live enjoyed it, and we will have this up again. We'll be doing this on the last day of the month, which if we look at August here is
Saturday.
Last Saturday.
Last Saturday, yeah. We don't do it the last day. We do it the last Saturday of the month. So that'll be August 26th at noon Pacific time. We do it from 12 till 2. So
Yay.
My
The way
Commander Shepard.
to spell because is BECASE.
I'm out of here.
I'm out here too.
Just wanted to see if Bloodworth would go 3 for 3 there on the corrections.
What's this about?
That was correction bait.
Oh.
I just don't think that was great bait. I
Wasn't
think it was
great
the
bait.
voice.
It was just
The best bait.
Low grade bait.
Low grade bait, yeah.
Yeah, those aren't even live worms, you know?
We're out of here.
We're out of here. Bye, everybody. Thanks for
Bye,
tuning in.
everyone.